Nari Katani Yambo, Nanki Brakamikui, the money of Budne, Dawa, Manansha, Yata, Ghana, Yata, Nina, Yata, Kana, Yata, Kandanyanga. You're going to die, Yata, Naya, thank you. Round of applause for our elders. They've been fighting this fight longer than we've been alive. Respect to you. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
On Twitter, especially with the hashtag APD occupation. That's APD occupation.
Cheeseburger birthday. So nobody's who's my double face? Who's my double face?
They did it. They know. They took over.
Roll over.
Think about it. Last night when
oh, what good baby. Roll over. What good baby. Little bite. Little bite. Little bite. Little bite.
Hey, can y'all say Black Lives Matter?
Oh, cheeseburgers are so good.
No, don't say all this. Say Black.
Oh, I love cheeseburgers. Birthday burgers. You guys are so spoiled. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Are you taking little bites, Boo Bear? Are you taking little bites?
Not gonna feed him any of those Chinese jerky treats from Costco that kill dogs. You see that story?
Oh, I love cheeseburgers.
You see that story?
Yeah.
We don't do that. We feed them good old American meat.
No doggy treats.
Yeah, no, doggy treats are not good.
If it's good enough for American children, it's good enough for my Boo Bears.
Right? Is that good, Rufus? Hey.
Who's my Boo Bear?
Hold on, Boo. Rufus. High five, buddy. Sit. Sit. High five. I got him right here. High five. Oh, come on. You can do a high five better than that. Scoot over, girl. Rufus.
Come here. 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 Sit. High five.
Sit. It's too far for the camera. Oh, look at that. High five. Can you do the other hand? Other one. Other one. Give me a shake on that other hand. Rufus, sit. Shake. Shake with the other hand. Oh, you got it. High five with that hand.
Get it.
Hey, high five, buddy. High five.
Get it.
Hey, high five.
Get him.
Oh, come on. You missed it. I know. He's like, fine.
My butt is sliding on the floor.
Then there's that girl sitting patiently.
She's going, is that it? There's no more cheeseburgers, no more puppuccinos? That's it, girl. All done, girl. What good babies. What good babies. You're my beautiful babies.
11 years old today. Can hardly believe it. I remember when they were just puppies and they were fighting and playing with each other. I think we got a picture of that somewhere.
Four police officers from Aurora, Colorado are off the force tonight after photos emerged showing three of them reenacting the kind of neck hold that Elijah McClain was subjected to last August. He died 3 days later. The police chief called taking those photos a crime against humanity. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandow.
I am disgusted to my core.
Tonight, Aurora's interim police chief says the officers seen in this photo simulating a chokehold used on Elijah McClain don't deserve to wear the badge.
It's reprehensible, and that's why they no longer work here.
Officers Erica Marrero and Kyle Dietrich were fired. Jaron Jones resigned after posing for these photos in October, 2 months after the 23-year-old massage therapist and violinist was confronted by police.
Stop. I have a right to stop you because you're being suspicious.
Police say McClain tried to grab an officer's gun. They used a carotid chokehold to subdue him as he pleaded for his life.
I can't breathe. I'm just different. It's awful. I'm so sorry.
You're going, dude.
I have no gun.
That's where I tried carotid.
I don't do that stuff.
McClain was given a heavy sedative and died 3 days after a caller reported a man in a ski mask. McClain's family says he wore it because of a blood condition that made him feel cold. One of the officers who responded that night, Jason Rosenblatt, received this picture in a text message. He replied, "Ha ha," and was also fired.
There was absolutely nothing funny about this.
The idea that one resigned because he got caught in a photo, that's somehow shameful on a next level sort of way. They stood by and they let this happen.
All right, Clayton joins us now live from Aurora, from the spot where police confronted McClain. Clayton, besides those photos, there's also still the important investigation into the death of Elijah McClain.
That's right, Tom. The Colorado Attorney General is now investigating these officers who were initially cleared last summer, and the FBI and the Department of Justice say they're also looking into the case for possible civil rights violations. Tom?
Okay, Clayton, thank you.
That is such a messed up story, man. It makes you want to cry. He seemed like such a sweet guy, you know? Like wouldn't hurt a flea, wouldn't hurt a fly kind of guy. Right? And they killed him. And then they joked about it. Pretty sad. You would think people like that wouldn't be allowed to be police officers. Australia is rocking it. Adelaide. That looks like quite a few thousand people, doesn't it? At least 1,000? Over 1,000? Okay, quite a few people. Louisville's rocking it. We're getting fireworks here. I'm going to have to shut some windows. It makes the doggies go something, something, something. They're going to need cookies. Gonna need some cookies in a minute, huh, Boo Bear? We'll go get a cookie for the Boo Bear. Okay, that looks like 1,000 people. Or almost, maybe. Right? 500? That's nice. So, Americans will forever admire the author of American Freedom, Thomas Jefferson. Tell me more about what I'm supposed to think, Mr. President. Aurora, thank you for being in the street. Seattle, I cannot tell what's going on with Seattle. I don't know if this is just some person walking in Seattle or what's happening. We saw that they were at a police line wherever they were earlier. Or at least a police tape, I should say. Said, do not cross. Okay, so where are we at here? Colorado. Freedom and Liberty Rally. No justice. No justice. Wow, look at that. Is that a Can-Am? Look pretty cool. I love how everybody has homemade signs. Isn't that, I just think that's such a beautiful thing. All right. What's he pointing? Finger? Careful now. Careful now. Don't want to do that at a cop. Maybe he's pointing at the cops. Don't point at the cops like that. He's got a gun!
Australia always looked like a great place to visit. I've met numerous people from Australia, and they've always been very friendly. Haven't ever got like a cold shoulder from somebody from Australia, which is pretty cool. Feel the same way about Canadians. One of the guys in Louisville the other night was taunting the cops. They were like, they had a police line like right up on the people's face, and he was like, here, let me turn around and pretend like I'm running away so you can feel more comfortable to shoot me, because that's what you're used to, right? I thought that was hilarious. Let's see. So they created a Department of Homeland Security statue task force. We have a video about that. We have a video about a mask being required. All businesses in Washington State are now required, are no longer allowed to do business with anyone not wearing a mask. So if you're in Washington State and you walk into anyone's business, they are not allowed to do business with you if you are not wearing a mask. And this shit never gonna end with the mask, I'm telling you. So I will bring you up to date on that, and I'll be right back.
But the COVID pandemic is changing how they're traveling and the destinations they're choosing. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. I'm Matt Lorch.
And I'm Jamie Tompkins. It is certainly going to be an unprecedented holiday weekend. Face coverings are required throughout the state through the 4th of July and beyond. And businesses have the backing of the state to refuse service to people who don't follow the rule. Now, business owners have had to make a bunch of adjustments throughout this pandemic. And as we move into the holiday weekend, businesses lucky enough to still be open are now also gearing up for yet another big change here.
So starting next week, businesses will be required to turn customers away if they do not follow Governor Inslee's new order that mandates face coverings be worn statewide. But as Q13's Steve Kagan shows us, there could be some holdouts, right, Steve?
Well, you got it right. You know, some of these businesses have just been limping along these past few months, just trying to survive, but there's at least one that has a legal battle in plan for the state. Keeping the Westies sports and spirits squeaky clean has been job number one for co-owner Paul Ridhams.
We're sitting here going above and beyond back then and now still.
The bar's been open about 6 years. Since the pandemic, their lifeline has been customers ordering takeout. It's not ideal for a sports bar, but it's helped them hang on.
We're all learning. I mean, things are changing from day to day. There's no playbook.
Come Tuesday, businesses across the state will be legally required to turn customers away for those who refuse to wear a face covering. For the most part, Ridham says customers have been on board.
We've had a few people that take issue with it.
Face coverings were already required statewide, but come Tuesday, the stakes go even higher. For businesses who don't require everyone to wear a face covering, violations have the potential to ruin the progress businesses have already made this far.
If people are willing to, take that risk and risk other people getting sick so that they can, people should be held accountable.
Around Puget Sound, many are already covering their faces to avoid spreading COVID, but some feel muzzled.
Don't be a sheep.
The Chronicle in Centralia last month recorded the county sheriff encouraging neighbors to ask critical questions regarding mandatory face coverings. Plus, the owner of Flower World Nursery in Maltby plans to fight masks with a legal challenge, according to the Everett Herald.
We still have to kind of be smart about it because it can go back.
Ridhams has already been over backwards to stay afloat and to protect himself and his employees and others. But come Tuesday, he hopes fellow business owners take the mask mandate seriously and hopefully avoid a second stay-at-home order.
We didn't want the yo-yo effect. We've already closed one down once and had to reopen. We don't want to do that again.
So the very first time we saw these face covering mandates, there was a penalty included, but by and large, most police departments instead chose to use it as a teaching component instead of handing out citations. But this time it's different. For those businesses that are caught allowing these customers to ditch the masks, there could be pretty steep fines involved, and the business could end up losing their license. Back to you guys.
All right, Steve, and Republican candidate for Governor Tim Eyman and several others are suing Governor Inslee over his mask mandate. Eyman says he's okay with the federal government encouraging face masks, but he's against Governor Inslee's mandate and making the decision unilaterally.
I get asked the question all the time, you're not wearing a mask, that's very dangerous. I say what's more dangerous is having a governor for 4 more years that doesn't respect us enough and is willing to make unilateral decisions without representative democracy. That's more scary to me than me not wearing a mask.
Today's lawsuit was filed in Thurston County Superior Court down in Olympia.
Well, from
SueEnsley.com. I'm going there right after we're done here. SueEnsley.com. I want him sued so much. Like nobody's ever been sued before. Telling me what I have to do. Oh, I hate that. Alright, so it looks like our our computer is behaving correctly now. I don't know what the deal with was the OPS there. On the other screen, we still have the fire on the streets of Paris. It says police are moving in, but it doesn't look, well, maybe they are here. Let's see if police are moving in here. Are police moving in? Does it look like police are moving in? It looks like the protesters might be backing off. I don't know. Oh, they got a water cannon. They got a water cannon. Everybody run. So this is the streets of Paris. I'm not sure exactly where, but it says Paris. So, in case you're wondering. I don't know, did they put out that fire? Are they actually using the water on people? These guys look well prepared. They got their helmets on. I'm gonna step away from that for a minute. Oh, they still got their fire going. Still got the fire. It doesn't look like there's I can't tell how many people are there. Probably most of them on the other side of the fire. You know, water cannon coming at you. Water cannon coming at you. You want a cookie, buddy? You do? Alright, we'll get one in a minute. The fireworks. The fireworks. The fireworks are starting. We have to do something. They got their hands up. Are they just like shooting it like a warning, you think? Like saying, look, look, we can hit way over there. They're just like spraying them. They're not actually hitting them with it. The water cannons are out in Paris. That is unfortunate. Keep an eye on that. What we got going on over here? People on the march in Louisville going for a little walkabout. People protesting outside, I believe that's the police department in Aurora, Colorado. Adelaide, Australia has a lovely little protest going on. And Seattle's got something happening too. And I'm sure Portland does, and Paris does. So, here's where we are. If anybody wants to call, the number's 805-669-6397. It's right there on the screen. You can do it. You all have phones. Do it now. Otherwise, I have more videos to play for you. Louisville's on the march. Aurora's rocking it. Good job, Aurora. 3 cops fired in Aurora today. One of them quit yesterday, so he didn't have to get fired. It says police are moving in. Police are moving in. In a minute. Fire's still going. But they're not burning anything down. They're simply having a bonfire. It's kind of a pagan ritual, you know. It's the symbol of freedom. A giant bonfire is a symbol of freedom. For those of you who don't know, one of them is like fireworks, only on the ground. Oh. Oh. But those guys look nice. Louisville looks nice. Seattle looks nice. Australia looks nice. And Aurora, which is near Denver, I believe, looks very nice. You rock it, Adelaide. Can't tell how many people they got there in Louisville, but there's a few. Let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a video about. Well, let's check it. Just check in on Paris real quick. Paris, fire's still going. Where's the water cannons? Where's the water cannons? Again, they're not burning down a building or anything like that. It looks like the water cannons might be getting a little closer. I think so. It looks like a bunch of people moved. Is that us? Oh, that's us. So it looks like the water cannons are getting closer in Paris. If anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. We'll watch this for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get a dab ready just in case there's any hope that anyone might have kicked down a donation. No, they didn't. But if you want to, it's easy to make a donation at moxnews.com. or there are clickable links in the text body of this video. So please give generously. That would be very nice of someone. I started 16 seeds last night. 16. So hopefully we'll have at least a few flowers going here in the next few days. Hopefully. And one of them's for Chris and one of them's for a neighbor. And I wish you were my neighbor, because one of them might be for you too. Wouldn't that be awesome to be my neighbor? Won't you be my neighbor? Legalize freedom. Legalize freedom, baby. That's what we really need. The cannon stopped spraying. The people are still in the streets, but I don't see the cannon spraying. Fire's still going too, right? Legalize freedom. Not like Donald Trump freedom, you know, but like freedom. Freedom like, stop telling me what to do. Fire's still going. Stop telling me what to do. Fire's still going. You're not the boss of me. If anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. Hey, Craig, put the telephone, can you put the phone number in there for them to call if anybody wants to call? Talk about what's going on. Whereas this is. Oh, water cannon's going. Water cannon's going. They're getting ready. It's a warning shot. I believe that is a warning shot. Expect them to begin moving in momentarily. It's going to be bowling for protesters. That water cannon hits you, you don't forget it. Hopefully they won't lose their front teeth. That guy's got a giant bird. Look at that. They have a giant bird. What is that? What is that a symbol of? Is that a symbol of something? They're all holding up birds. What are they all holding up? Hey, they're coming up. They're coming up to the water cannons. They're like, whoa. They kind of cleared out a minute ago. Hands up, don't shoot. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. If anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker, burn. Woo! Right? Right? Anybody with me? Guess not. Guess not. Just me. Uh-oh. Michelle. My belle. Mr. Woko. Very nice, Mr. Woko. It's so nice to make your acquaintance, Mr. Woko. Let's see. Al. Thanks, Al. Alright, well, we better get some fucking dabs ready. Shite! We got a little catching up to do here. Hold on. I'll see what I can do. Let me whip this thing out. Oh, there we go. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Paris. Paris has a little fire going, which we do not need water for. Just in the street. Not bothering anybody. We're just having a little camp out. What's wrong with you cops? Can't we camp out if we want to camp out? Hello, caller.
Michelle again.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. I just wanted to tell you it's dab time. I'm good for 20 clams tomorrow. I would do it right now, but I can't even see.
Oh, right on. Well,
so dab time, brother.
Right
All
on.
right?
Okay, I'll get one ready for you.
All right. I'm going to watch.
Okay, good.
Like a pervert. Goddamn, it sounded like I was a pervert. All right. Bye, bro.
Bye. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. That's our buddy Michelle from Texas. And if Michelle says she's good for it, Michelle is good for it. That's what I'm telling you right now. Yes, sir. The check is in the mail. So let me get one ready for Michelle. Because she deserves a good one. Because she's a good girl. And so does Wilco and Al. Thanks, guys. I'll get it caught up here. This is a good one. Hold on. It's fucking hot. Can't you see how fucking hot it is? Just give me a minute. Just 1 minute. Fucking hot. All right. Let's see. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker. That's a big giant fucking dab, you guys. That's a big fucking dab. That's a big fucking giant dab. Monumental holiday. Fox News is just over the top, man. That was a very good dab. Thank you very much, Michelle. Ha! All right, so we'll get another one ready here for Al and one ready for Mr. Wolko. Thank you both. Very much. Very nice of you guys. And if anybody else wants me to take a dab for them, I will be more than happy to do so. Again, it's Dabs for Donation Friday. And I'm feeling much better now. Okay, so, and every donation makes me feel much, much better. And because it makes me know that you guys support what it is I'm doing. You guys want me to keep doing what it is I'm doing. Because I'll tell you, it's not been easy this last few weeks. It really, really, really hasn't. And besides the donations not being very good at all, if very, very slim, I should say. Again, thanks to Michelle and Woko and Al. But again, it's just been really super slow. So, and I hate to ask you guys, but we don't do any commercials, we don't do any advertising, and we're just trying to show you what's going on in the world, what's happening. Share with you, so if you have an opinion, you can share with us. We can all be witness to this life-changing thing that's going on. This revolution that's happening in the streets around the world. Which I love. I love revolutions. That's why I love seeing people dancing. Every time I see the people dancing, it reminds me of V for Vendetta. He tells Natalie Portman. V tells Natalie Portman. He says a revolution. He asks her if she'll dance with him for at the end of the movie, and she says, "Dance now on the eve of your revolution," and he says, "A revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having," or something to that effect, I believe. And I love that movie. If you guys haven't seen it, again, this thing that's happening with the plague now in our time is almost the exact plot of V for Vendetta. An amazing, amazing movie. Hello, caller.
Hey, Michael.
What's going on, bro?
I don't know. Just woke up and got my big ass pot of spaghetti.
Oh, you're so lucky. I was thinking, man, I should make me a big ass pot of spaghetti, dude. I was just thinking that earlier.
Got tri-tip and fucking Italian sausage.
Italian sausage, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's so good. It's fucking the best sauce. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. I'll
lucky.
Yeah. So, where's that fire at?
That is Paris.
Paris. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fucking time.
And they have water cannons at the end of the street, if you didn't see that part. There's, I think, about 4 water cannons, and the people have been standing in front of the water cannons, and they keep shooting them off to the side like warning shots or something. So I love it.
Yeah, it looks like they got a wind going because the smoke's going one direction. So nothing's burning. That's important. Just a fire.
Right. We're just celebrating the 4th.
Oh, what, in Paris? 4th of July?
Don't they celebrate the 4th in Paris?
Not really, man.
Huh. I thought they celebrated something on the 4th.
I don't know. You'd have to ask. There's somebody. Oh, there's a world walking around with no fucking underpants on. It's a globey. It's a globey.
I love the protesters. Again, a revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having, as I just stated moments ago.
Yeah, man. I don't know. You would actually have to call up a French person to find out whether they celebrate the American 4th of July in France. I can't see why they would do that. They didn't have much to do with it. But you never know. For all I know, they could. It could be 4th of July, but that's probably not what it's about, man. You don't get protesters out in the street because of 4th of July. I haven't heard from France for the longest time, but I did find out today that the WHO came out and said people who are asymptomatic with COVID-19 don't have to self-isolate and are not infectious, that's going to get a lot of people out in the street. You know, once they find that out. That's pretty cool, huh?
I don't trust anything that those people say.
Well, either do I, but as long as they're saying the shit that I like, they're pretty cool. They're okay with me, man.
I just, but what if, see, the thing is everything that they say sounds like they should be saying the opposite to me. So if what they're saying is a fucking obvious ploy to do something else, to make everybody sick, to assure a second wave, whatever, then maybe, they're, you know what I mean? I don't trust anything they say, and whatever it is they say, just like the rest of the news, when they're saying this, look here, wah, 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 it's like, something's wrong. They're all saying the same thing,
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, what is it? Is it an alien fucking virus? Everybody's going to turn into fucking creatures.
They're all going to turn into pudding, and then the creatures are going to land and drink us with straws.
So, I just woke up. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying, but yeah, it's another day, Friday night. I realized, Michael's show is on, and all my buddies are here. So what's going on today, news-wise?
Native American protesters blocked the entrance to Mount Rushmore.
How'd that go?
They fucking pretty good. They pulled up in big white vans and turned them all sideways in the street, and then they took all the wheels off the vans.
No shit.
Yeah, wow. and then the tow trucks came in to try and take the vans away, and the tow trucks couldn't do it. So, and then when they brought in these other kind of platform trucks that they could pull the things up onto, it started fucking like plowing the streets, Because,
right.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome.
Did Trump end up going there?
Yeah, he's there.
Oh, what a dickweed. That was originally before somebody started blowing up dynamite on the mountain. It was originally called Six Grandfathers, I think.
Huh.
Mount Rushmore, yeah. So, it's kind of weird that the Indians deny him access to, quote-unquote, their land by two different treaties.
It's weird?
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody is saying fuck you to the government. Next, the fucking gremlin's going to be coming out of the ground saying, fuck you, we got a treaty from 252 says humans aren't allowed here. But it's cool, the fucking, the Sioux, the great Sioux Nation. I respect the Indians, and they actually, yesterday I heard video where they actually were very respectful. They actually almost apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to deny President Trump access to Mount, whatever they call it,
I think they want to be respectful, I don't think they're trying to be disrespectful. It's just, yeah, you didn't clear this shit with us, and we don't like it. So, ain't gonna happen.
And for all I know, every 4th of July, they might have giant fireworks displays that are just crazy, and I don't.
They said there hasn't been a fireworks display there in 11 years.
Oh yeah,
that's what I heard.
What state is that in?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. Yeah. So, and what else going on? That was about it, huh? No big deal.
3 Aurora cops got fired today.
Which 3 was that?
The 3 that were involved in killing Elijah McClain.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a fucked up situation.
Yeah, but they got fired for posing for a stupid picture where they're like, one of them's holding the other one in a chokehold and shit, and they're all smiling and fucking right after they fucking killed him.
Yeah. Oh, They took the picture right after they killed him.
That's what they said.
Oh my God. Yeah, you know, that is so fucked up. It's like big game hunter posing with their dead trophy. You know, might as well put your foot on his chest and put a big smile on.
Right.
Your face.
You do that shit in you know, Afghanistan, and there's gonna be a big fucking like international investigation. So.
Yeah. Well, I think they somewhere in Europe they tore down a statue of King Leopold, who apparently killed 16 million black people in Africa. You know, there's a statue that I don't mind you tearing down. That that guy was a butcher. He was like worse than.
The thing about the statues is it's like it's totally non-violent, right? It's not like they're burning down a store, a Nike store, or looting or something, you know. And by they, I don't mean that's what the protesters do. I'm just giving that as a comparison. They're day and night differences. I really see the tearing down of the statues as just another way to try and demand that their government listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's not something, I'm not a big supporter of any kind of vandalism, but again, at the same time, I see this as a very non-violent protest, so...
Yeah, it's a kind of a new thing. You know, last year people weren't really tearing down statues. It's just this year, right now, and
it's actually been going on for about a couple of years now. You know, at least it's been going on for probably at least 10 years. The vandalizing of statues, the throwing of blood onto them, and all this kind of stuff. You know, I know it's been going on much longer than that. It's a pretty normal human thing. It's just become, again, I see it as a very non-violent protest, and I see the people demanding. You know, you're not listening. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, it poses me a weird psychological situation because I don't mind tearing down a statue of Albert Pike, and I don't mind tearing down a statue of King Leopold, but I'm actually a little bit fond of Andrew Jackson, and I know all the black people in the audience go say, Andrew Jackson, he's a racist, he had slaves, and he didn't have slaves. Well, maybe he did, I don't know. I don't think he did, but he was just this badass motherfucker who walked around the White House with guns on, and he stomped all over the South, started the Democratic Party, and you know, he kind of changed the dynamic in this country, and he was smart and tough, and so I'm a little bit attached to him, and I guess Trump is too. Trump knows the same shit, you know. If Trump wasn't a fucking pussy, he'd be walking around the White House with guns on too, but he's got the Secret Service. So, you know, it's weird.
They would not allow Trump to walk around with a gun because he would probably shoot himself or be threatening people constantly.
Well, he's already threatening people.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if he was armed, you know? Yeah. I will shoot you right fucking here. I kill people, motherfucker.
Yeah, what kind of a crazy motherfucker would... You got it. You can't trust somebody like that, man. They'll fucking kill you. But you know, it's weird. And then you know, Albert Pike was basically, you know, he was a Freemason and supposedly in the Illuminati, and he handed off the leadership of the Illuminati to Mazzini, an Italian guy who I guess lived in the United States, but but other people, you know, it's like don't tear down Abraham Lincoln's statue, you know. So we're all a little bit attached to certain historical.
You know what? I mean, you gotta get over this like thing because, again. It's the people in the street, and it is a non-violent protest. It really is. So if that's where the people are at, and they're like, you know what, this one's got to go to, and they have whatever reasons they have, and that's where they're at. You know what I mean? You can't just pick and choose and say, well, this one. And Trump, I have this story. Trump did like they formed the Department of Homeland Security has formed a statue task force. So. They're gonna start going after motherfuckers, dude. You guys be careful. This is all I'm saying.
Job security, baby.
Yeah.
So.
And again, it's a non-violent protest. So for all you people who like cheer that shit on, this again is a very, very non-violent form of protest, and I think that's the most important thing to understand.
I would rather get a new insane country than be psychologically attached to statues. So I'm a little bit of a fan of history, and I don't want to hurt the statues, Mike. But
I'm a fan of art. I see like a guy riding a horse, and I just think, about this artist who spent, how long did he spend fucking putting that together, and you know what I mean? It's a
right. Yeah.
That's the way here we go. That's the way I always saw these statues when I was a kid. It was never, look, this is a statue to this evil person. I would see like, people, these giant horses and guys fucking all costumed up, and you know what I mean? It was
right. Yeah.
It was like, that's really cool, man. Fuck, that is really neat. It kind of inspired me artistically, I think, maybe.
Oh, some statues are so awesome, and
right.
Imagine doing that with no power tools. Because I don't know if you've ever met a sculptor or seen sculptors, but with power tools, it takes a long fucking time, and it's dirty work, and you got to wear a mask and powder everywhere, and there's a lot of skill that goes into it. So it's a real work of art, The subtraction of materials is called carving, and the addition of materials is called sculpture. So, statues are just a fucking work of art.
Yeah, again, and that's what I see, and that's the thing that bothers me about the whole thing. I don't know. I always wanted to go to Washington D.C. and just to see the statues, because I want to go there and eat mushrooms, right? And just wander around and look at all the fucking cool statues, But it had nothing to do with this guy being a great man or anything like that. It's just like, oh, well, here's shit that we don't have everywhere, We don't have the history like Paris does, or, Italy, Rome, whatever. We don't have these fucking centuries old fountains and stuff. So I'm just always attracted to art, man. I'm just attracted to art, and
and even Middle Eastern,
like you're saying, I mean, when you're looking at a piece of art that's centuries old, like you're saying, imagine doing this with just no power tools whatsoever, here's this fucking elaborate fountain, it's, I mean, you just think, wow. What the hell would that have taken to make it? Why aren't we doing shit like this now? Why isn't shit like this the big priority? You know what I mean? It's just...
Right, yeah. And, in that way, it's symbolic of tearing down civilization itself when you destroy works of art from any culture. If you're a fucking dumb Afghan soldier blowing up a 2,000-year-old Buddha.
That killed me, dude. That was like, that thing like in Star Wars where like Obi-Wan Kenobi like all of a sudden like crumbles kind of, and he's like, there's just that's how I felt when that happened, man. Just like, fuck.
Oh yeah.
What kind of fucking people would do something like that?
Yeah, well, that's kind of like nihilism, when you're destroying society and civilization because you think there's no hope, and I'm angry and I got no life, and so I would rather see the statues of even the people I don't like Albert Pike and people like that. I would rather see them removed with a crane and hauled off into a warehouse and, you know, put up fucking a statue of Mickey Mouse or somebody you like, you know, put up a plastic orange lesbian, you know. Fucking Donald Trump's the kind of guy that would make his own statue of himself, you know. And
yeah, well, let's just stop, you know, let's find something, you know, that's not like, again, we don't need these people, the representations. But having some artistic thing. It's I don't know. You know, we just don't appreciate art the way it should be in this country. I just it's not. It doesn't seem to be valued the way that it should be.
Well, Judaism was the first religion to be anti-art. It's even in the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt have no false idols before me. You can't have any statues. You can't have any representations of God. You don't have statues of Yahweh. Anybody ever seen a statue of Yahweh?
Yeah, but I mean like you know, not that, but I mean like just a statue of a naked woman or something. You know what I mean? How is that? That's not before God, right?
Well, the philosophers and some of the people that I know that call themselves philosophers, they divide the philosophical world up into Jerusalem and Athens. And the Athenians started democracy in the town square and public discourse and, you know, rules for building civilization and all these great statues and these great orators and philosophers. And then Jerusalem was like, we got all these rules and gods and you can't do this and you can't do that. And if you...
Nailing protesters right there in front. Right there on the pole right there. If anybody's looking, they're nailing protesters with the water cannon. Get the fuck out of the way. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I say religion's all about. That's, to me, that's what everything, you know, God gave you all. If there is a creator God, the one thing I know is God made you top of the food chain on this planet and gave you the ability to do almost anything that you can imagine making happen, you know, within reason. And for whatever reason, you know, religions seem to say, oh, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. You know, just taking away all your personal power that God gave you. And I don't see how that's not against God, anti-God. That just is so anti-God to me, you know?
Well, I hate to see old trees being cut down, you know, old growth forests. And imagine if they, I mean, they used to cut down the giant redwoods up until, what, the 40s, I think, you know? Maybe later than that. And those are some of my favorite trees on the planet. It's like, my God, these trees were giant when Jesus was walking the land, you know? And you're cutting these motherfucking trees down?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you know, that's way worse than spray painting or breaking a statue to me.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, the sound I hate the most in my neighborhood, we have old growth trees in this neighborhood. I have a tree across the street from me which is about 200 feet tall.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's a giant cedar tree. And
oh man, they smell great.
It's a beautiful tree. I mean, it's kind of carved up because the telephone wires and shit, you know.
Right.
They had to fucking carve up some limbs to get it out of the way, but it's still there. And it's a sight to behold. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that are way, way bigger. And every time I hear a chainsaw, man, it just pains. You know, I almost feel I hate it, dude. You have no idea. And you know, and it's somebody fucking wanting to increase the curb appeal of their fucking home or something, you know. It's beyond ridiculous.
Well, sometimes you have to cut limbs off that go over houses, you know. Cause
yeah, that's different though. Cutting a limb off is one thing. You know, I mean, you know.
Or trim to make sure, trim your dead shit off. You know, I've cut down trees. I've cut down trees that are maybe 70 foot tall. That's about the biggest one I've ever cut down. But it's a hairy fucking job climbing up there and trying not to drop it on a house and, you know, trying not to get killed when it falls. And, you know, that's a badass job, you know. And I got at least 5, maybe 7 friends, all of whom have tree companies. And when the storms come, that's when they get busy because, trees fall in storms, and this isn't even snow country. So, as long as you're not being gratuitous about cutting trees down, you're saving homes, and you're unblocking streets, and because without the tree cutters, you'd have all kinds of limbs falling on power lines and cars. And
dude, you don't understand. I've heard my neighbors talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, you get to cut down 2 trees a year. That's what they allow you in shoreline, which means, it took me like 4 years, but I got all the trees out of our backyard. I just fucking fucking disgusted beyond fucking, like, you have no idea, man. It just makes me want to vomit.
And the guy probably just wanted a sunny backyard.
I don't give a fuck, dude. You know what? We live in a rainforest. Again, I live in a place where there is old growth trees. And if everybody wanted to cut down their fucking trees, there wouldn't be no goddamn forest here. So it seems pretty selfish and short-sighted to me, for someone to do that. So we're clear, if anybody's wondering.
You ever seen a baobab tree that's looks like a big and fat and wide and size of a house? It just dwarfs a human being. It's weird looking. It's not like a pine or a elm or a eucalyptus. But I mean, trees are awesome.
Is Paris on the screen or not?
No, I think Craig was talking about trees, and he put something up about trees. Now we're off into the sky. Oh, look, there's a UFO, man. So, see, Craig's on it. So, what's that thing on the side? Is that a chat room?
Yeah,
Brandon?
some chat. This is coming off of some kind of
Seattle.
Some kind of something from I'm not sure where. Periscope, coming off the Periscope.
Yeah. So what else happened today? Tomorrow's the 4th of July, and I'm surprised it's not big news that because everything's shut down and they're trying to enforce all the isolation and but when I came across a video this morning of the WHO talking about how people who are not symptomatic are generally not contagious. That kind of puts an end to all the fighting and discussion about masks and stuff. So
you were like, I got a video by the WHO, and I was like, people will try to put us down.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them to give false information to try to start a second wave, but at the same time, every once in a while on social media, I run into somebody that, well, my grandfather died or something like that, but that's, other than that, I don't know. I don't see people dying. I don't know anybody who had a relative or friend die, so I think the whole fucking thing is, it's a psyop. It's overblown. I know if you go on an incubator on a ventilator, that's $39,000 for the hospitals. That's incentive to put people on. I know that they fucked up all the treatments and protocols, and they killed a bunch of people. I know they completely fucked up the old folks' homes, and they killed a bunch of old people. I know that if you go into any COVID protocol at all, that's $7,000 for the hospital. So there's monetary incentive. When they had that bailout package, 3 months ago now, they gave a easy fucking $1,000 billion to the medical establishments, and that's where the money's going. And it's like, well, if you have a patient on a ventilator, we'll give you $39,000. So, money talks and bullshit walks, and it's like, hey, man, how about we just get back to normal and open everything up, and we'll build up our immune systems, and the people that can't work get unemployment, and we got common sense stuff. But no, we got to overregulate everything, starve people, shut down everything, bail out the corporations, put the kibosh on all the fucking mom and pop organizations. And it's like nothing's normal on planet Earth anymore, especially common sense. If you got common sense, you're abnormal. You know, it's like a superpower. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's fucked up. I don't like government. I don't like regulations. I don't like people telling me I'm a fucking a terrorist or a killer because I won't wear a mask. It's like, fuck you people. You're a slave. You people are slaves. And by the way, where's all the masks of the people out in the streets in the video I'm looking at? It's like, I don't see people with masks. So, you know, and the second spike, the numbers are, all those numbers on that fake second spike, it's because you've upped the tests 100 times, 100-fold. Of course the numbers are going to go up when you're testing 100 times more than you were originally. It's going to look like a spike. But as far as people dying, I don't know anybody who's died. I see a bunch of motherfucking mind control subjects with masks on. Now you got designer masks. Oh, here's a Mickey Mouse mask. Here's a vagina mask. Here's a fucking red, white, and blue mask. Fuck you. Tomorrow, I'm going to go out and I'm going to see people with red, white, and blue masks on. Fuck you! Grow up! It's like, what? We're on planet knucklehead now. There's nobody with a mask. Nobody.
I want to get one that says, insert bong here.
Yeah. So, it's fucking stupid. What a stupid, you know, if people trust their government now, you might as well just, you know, put an iron collar on them and a chain, and let's just walk them around like poodles. And, you know, I'm a citizen, you know, don't disrespect the government. It's like, fuck you. I'll burn the government down and keep the statues. What do you turn down statues for when you got fucking senators you could be burning?
Well, see, that's non-violent and violent, right?
Yeah, well, you know me. I'll kill ya! I'll kill ya!
Well, we got to start with the non-violent, and then when they don't allow a non-violent revolution, that that assures a violent one.
Just did a quick
It's
search
planet knucklehead, dude.
on the police trucks. It's Hamburg, Germany.
Where?
Hamburg, Germany.
Hamburg?
Hamburg, Hamburg, Hamburg.
Hamburg, Germany. Okay, so that's not Paris. It's Hamburg, Germany.
Oh, by the way, the Netherlands, Sweden, and Denmark, and all those countries, they didn't have lockdowns, they didn't have masks, and they didn't have shutdowns, and they got less of a death toll. You know, they got 10 times less of a death count than we do, and we had lockdowns and protocols and masks and everything. So where is your fucking common sense, you know, when it comes to Sweden and all these ridiculous medical protocols?
Well, what did you say about, did you say that they're not having a big increase, or what did you say?
No, they got really, really low numbers, about a tenth of what we got. And their protocols are way different. There was no lockdown in the northern European countries like Finland and the Netherlands and Sweden, and their numbers are small and our numbers are big. So something's wrong with this picture. Maybe our numbers are wrong and we're being played, and there really is no great.
Well, the numbers are definitely, the death numbers are definitely fudged. You know, I don't trust the test. But also, you know, this thing where they sheltered everybody in place, right? That kind of assured a second wave. You know what I mean? Because it made it so that the first wave didn't have the opportunity to end.
Yeah, and I got people in my town afraid of the air. It's like, I'm going down the street, there's no one around me for 100 yards, I'm wearing a mask, and I'm a good citizen. And what are you afraid of? The air? There's no one around you, you fucking nitwit. Take that fucking thing off your face. Who are you trying to impress? God is laughing at you, motherfucker. God thinks you're a monkey. You dumb fucker. Take the fucking mask off. People in their cars all by themselves. I'm a good citizen. I got the mask on. And you know these are the people that are voting for Hillary Clinton. They're saluting the flag. So they'll virtue signal you to death. And they hate me because I'm talking like this. Fuck you. You got the IQ of a fucking goldfish. And I don't hang out with goldfish people. I don't like them. I might protect them if something comes down, but don't fucking mouth off to me. People think I'm a savage because I tell them the truth with common sense and maybe a couple cuss words. It's like, fuck you. I'm not going to fucking baby you into becoming a human being. I'm going to pimp slap your dumb fucking ass no matter how old you are, and you better grow the fuck up, because this is not normal. You're not a normal person. You're a slave with a mask on. Fuck you. You're a goldfish. I'll throw you down $10 in the chat, Mike.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Are you lighting fireworks off?
No, I never do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. The dogs hate it, man.
Yeah. Your dogs hate it in particular too, right?
Yeah, they really hate it. I'm going to have to go give them a cookie.
Yeah, and every once in a while you'll see somebody like lit a M80 off in a dog's mouth or tied it to their collar or something, and it's like, and the people are so crazy. It's like, give them some explosives and sparklers, and they'll just burn everything down. And it's dry where I'm at, it's really dry here. So
you know what that? You know why that is? Crazy people cut down all the trees.
No, it's just I'm in the desert, dude, and everything's dry here.
Well, that's what I thought. You were talking about cutting down trees. I'm thinking you live in a fucking desert.
Well, I'm right next to the National Forest, and in the middle of summer, man, like we got, I think June 1st is the deadline for weed whacking. You got to have 100 yards around your house, weed free, everything cut down, because it's fire country. My whole town was surrounded by fire 2 years ago. The whole fucking valley, everything was on fire here.
Everything is on fire. Don't you know any of the words of Buddha? Everything is on fire.
Yeah, that's great, Buddha. That's great, man. But everything was on fire. So I went indoors and for 9 days, I recorded 9 songs with my buddy in 9 days, and we just stayed indoors. And I don't have air conditioning and filters and stuff, and the atmosphere, it was like, I don't know if you've ever been in a forest fire, but sometimes the smoke from the fire just settles, and if you're in a valley, you're literally in a valley of smoke. You might as well stick your head in a chimney, So
yeah, we get a lot of fires around here.
In Seattle, where it's all wet?
In the Northwest.
Yeah, you're not. It doesn't seem like fire country to me. California is fire country too.
We went to go see a concert. When we went to go see Fish, there was a fire burning like across the ravine from us, and I kept thinking. And we had the dogs in the RV, and I kept thinking, man, do we need to leave? Do we need to leave? But they played for 3 hours, and it seemed like it was cool.
Yeah, well,
you could see it burning. It was really a trip.
I've seen the big tankers here, right in front of me. It's pretty unusual to see a plane the size of a 747 come down to about 100 yards off the ground and just drop a load.
Yeah, those guys gotta be crazy, dude. Those guys gotta be seriously fucking crazy.
Oh, they make the big time bucks. There's a whole new there's my granny flat right there. One load. They make the big bucks, trust me. Helicopter pilots with their buckets and shit. We got a lake around here so that we don't have to dig into people's swimming pools, So, they just go to the lake and get a bucket and then fly back and drop it off, and they're making the bucks. The Forest Service, they'll line up at the Vons with their green trucks, and every new ager will come out with their flowers and their crystals. I actually give them weed. I give the guys, hey, you guys want some weed? Yeah, man, because they're not making the big bucks. They're just cool guys fighting a fire, and thanks for saving our valley.
And everybody loves weed.
Yeah, everybody loves weed, and we're all cool, and so I know what it's like to be in a fire. But Seattle just doesn't seem like fire country to me. Everything's so fucking wet there. It's like nothing could possibly catch fire. You could go out with a flamethrower.
No, man, we're worried about fire all the time, especially now with the fucking all the fireworks and shit. Most like in the town I live in, it's illegal. I mean, there's signs everywhere. Fireworks are illegal.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a weird year, no matter where you are in the United States for 4th of July. It's like, what do? It's like, well, it's COVID-19, and if you have a barbecue, you're anti-American, and you got to listen to the government, and we're all going to die if we don't wear masks.
Hey. The only way I know how to cook is with the barbecue. So.
Yeah, I bet you're good at it, man.
Not as good as Craig. Craig's amazing. What's that?
You use mesquite?
No, Craig just bought a really nice fucking grill, dude. Like fucking, natural gas. He's got it plugged into the wall, with natural gas.
Cool, yeah. Well, I got my spaghetti here, man.
Oh, you're now gonna make me jealous, huh?
It's so good, Mark. It's like accidentally awesome. That's what it is.
Lucky.
One of those things where I'll make some spaghetti and accidentally it just came out awesome. It's so good, Mike.
I do that every once in a while. I did it with the lasagna one time and I shared it with my friend Sam, and he's just been bugging me for years to make lasagna, man. You gotta make another lasagna, dude.
Well, okay. Well, I'll talk to you later. But unless you want to inform me what's going on, because I ate spaghetti this afternoon and then I passed out. I figured, it's Friday. I just pass out, and I passed out, and I woke up. I thought it was, it's like I'm thinking, God, did I sleep all night? Because it's looking like dawn, and it's actually dusk.
Well, sounds like a pretty good sleep, dude.
I couldn't believe it. So I got an extra night of life because it's not dawn. It's the sun just went down. So we'll see what happens. But nothing's happening in the news, right? I didn't miss any wars or the Maxwell hasn't died yet. Maxwell Silverhammer came down upon her head.
I did not hear that she died today.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. But you were right. The mainstream media isn't covering that story.
They don't.
They're talking about everything else but her.
They don't cover that story, and it needs to end before someone actually gets out into the mainstream. So my guess is she'll be a goner tomorrow. Because that would be the patriotic thing of her to do, to kill herself on the 4th of July.
That's not really a guess, right? I mean, no, man, they're not going to arrest her and all of a sudden she dies. I mean, at best, they'll wait 2 months and then she'll accidentally shoot herself in the head or something.
She'll slip in the shower.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's kind of weird. Yeah, her father was best friends with Ehud Barak, who was prime minister at one time, and definitely right-wing Mossad dude. And when I say best friends, I mean they talk on the phone. When he was alive, Maxwell's father, they would talk on the phone all the time, and they would eat together when he went to Israel. And so Ghislaine, I guess that's her name, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was most definitely entrenched in the highest halls of power of Israeli political life, and that means Mossad. So,
they said he had some kind of an untimely death.
The father, yeah, I thought I heard that too, but I never concentrated on him, so I can't really tell you what it's about. Could have died of cancer for all I know, but definitely is with Ehud Barak, and Ehud Barak is a butcher and a Zionist and
which an untimely death is very convenient for butchers and Zionists quite often, you know.
But we tend to think of Benjamin Netanyahu as he's a right-wing, terrible Israeli politician responsible for so much. But
no. I think of him as a baby-eating vampire.
Monster, yeah. Satan Yahoo. But actually, there's people to the right of Satan Yahoo. It's like, you can get worse than that. He's the Clinton of Israel. It's like, oh, really, you guys, I can do what I want. Hey, buddy, here, I'm getting a blowjob. My wife's a little piggy. My wife's a little piggy. I'm Netanyahu. My wife's a little piggy. So she didn't mean to abscond with the pearl necklace. It's like, there's people way to the right. Right now, he's sharing power because their political situation is so fucked up with a guy. He's sharing power with Benny Gantz, who is a right-wing guy. So, I can't even describe the political situation in Israel. First of all, I'm not an expert, and second of all, it's so fucked up, even the Israelis can't describe it. It's like, he just got indicted for bribery and racketeering, yet he's still the prime minister. Yet he's not the prime minister because he's sharing power with Benny Gantz, who's even worse than him, who wants to behead every Palestinian in the universe. Go to Jupiter, behead the Palestinians. It's like, it's so fucked up there. It's like Donald Trump sharing power with Barack Obama. That's how fucked up it is. So, there's worse people than Netanyahu. When they say mow the lawn, every time there's an election, Netanyahu goes out and mows the lawn. That's why he's killing Palestinians, because he can get that far right vote. There's people who would blow up Al-Aqsa Mosque right now and build that fucking third temple, and they've been digging underneath Al-Aqsa for 20 years, and so that the plaster on the inside of the mosque is cracking. And so if you think Netanyahu is bad, there's people in Israel.
No. I know that Netanyahu is bad. I know that Netanyahu is pure evil. I don't think it, I know it.
Yeah, well, he's calculated evil. It's like they don't, how long has he been prime minister? For like fucking 12 years? It's like, we don't get presidents for 12 years. Not anymore. The last one was Franklin Roosevelt, Then they changed the law. I give a big thumbs up to Russia. I want Putin to stay in power till 2036. It's like, fuck yeah. It's about time he fucking gave somebody who's not a knucklehead, who knows what they're doing, some extended length of term. It's like, Putin is awesome. If we had a Putin, all the wars would stop. The economy would bounce back. Nobody'd be wearing a mask. The child molesters wouldn't be here. There'd be no social division. The corruption would end. It's like, even Trump respects Putin. Everyone respects Putin. Nostradamus respects Putin. Nostradamus said, the world will be saved by the great bear of the north, that's going to come out of the north, and that's Russia. And so Putin is the only sane player on the chessboard. And, Trump, with all his, half the stuff he does is actually correct. It's like the hydroxychloroquine, totally correct procedure. Zinc, totally correct procedure. Fake news, totally fake fucking news. grab him by the pussy? No, that means you're a dumb fuck, Donald. Sorry. Presidents don't say grab him by the pussy. And Joe Biden is like, I'm going to kiss your shoulder now, little girl. Like creepy Joe. Go crawl back in your little fucking cave. And you, Bernie Sanders, you dim-witted, fake sheepdog of a fucking motherfucker, why did you get everybody's hopes up like that? And Tulsi, I guess she never got enough power to really let us down. What would she do? She endorsed somebody I didn't like, right? I think that was about the worst thing she did. Tulsi?
Yeah, she endorsed someone that she doesn't like. That's the worst thing that she did.
That's Biden, right?
Doesn't matter what you think, but yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
that's the worst thing that she did. That's very compromising. I don't like it.
Well, Bush dropped a lot of bombs, and he had 2 terms. And
that's not the point. That's not the point. It's just, she could be this influence. I don't know what she could do, but I think she could come out onto the fucking YouTube and be a real fucking influence. Saying all kinds of things, and we have to start a new party, and this is never going to work, and these people are just going to give us endless war forever, and they're never going to stop the drug war, and they think you need to be babysat day and night, and
if anybody who at this point has any faith in the political system, you got to be you definitely have the IQ of a goldfish, because if you can't see everything is bought off, we are in the times of Caligula in Rome, where they're butt-fucking horses in Congress, and it's like there's nothing right going on. Everyone is corrupt. Society is fighting amongst itself. There's a military in the fucking streets, and it's fucked up. So this is the collapse of empire, and every politician is bought off. And sometimes in every situation like that on Earth throughout all of history, a strong man arises, and then all the people who said, "Oh, let's vote for Hillary so this bad man doesn't get in." You made the bad man get in, all you dumb fucking New Agers, because you weren't politically aware.
It's not the New Agers, it's the fucking evil fucking establishment that said it was Hillary's turn. Instead of listening to the people and scooping up the gigantic grassroots movement that was just waiting there to have a home, they pissed all over them. And they did it with their super delegates. The stupidest fucking political move ever.
We got retarded royalty. Hillary Clinton is retarded.
It's Hillary's turn.
Remember, her head was going back and forth like that. She pooped her own pants. You see her with the little brown spot on her fucking dress. She pooped, and she can't walk up or downstairs. She needs help getting in the goddamn bed. It's like, that's royalty. That's our retarded royalty right there. Oh, but wait, we've got the heir apparent waiting in the wings. I want to get in the American scene. I want to become royalty. And you've got all the gay people and the straight people, and it's like the salute the flag. And Mike Pence is the worst example of a flag saluter. It's like, dude, you think I would ever follow anything? You say, I'll go on a hunting trip with you, and I'll accidentally shoot you in the head, motherfucker, just because I think you're a bad guy. So, and then, Obama is ex-royalty. It's like, well, I was the king of America for 8 years, and I really improved the quality of life amongst people in the discourse at my time. I was the black man who saved America, and now look who we have. We have an orange-haired buffoon, and I'm going to wade in on every political situation. I'm going to speak against the sitting president, and I'm royalty. I've got 3 mansions. Nixon, it's the same theater since fucking 1913, man. The American Kabuki theater going on and on and on. A parade of puppets. A new puppet. Every 8 years, it's a brand new puppet. And they're all vying for invisible positions of power. It's like, I want to be royal. I want to be American royalty. And then, Jackie Kennedy and John Kennedy's like, Camelot. I want to sing the song from the Camelot. Da 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 da. Camelot. It's like they were the absolute American royalty, and it's like that was theater too.
Yeah, it seemed like theater for a long time.
Yeah. So what can you do? What the fuck can you do except eat your spaghetti and watch the show? That's all I can do. So, okay, I'm going to get off your nerves now, Michael, and I want to see something happen, man, because...
Stuff is happening, dude. Stuff is happening.
Yeah, it's good. It looks like they're really ripping those streets apart.
No, they're really not. I mean, there's no broken windows. There's no anything, people, carrying televisions and shit. There's trash on the street, apparently. And they threw a few pallets into the street and made a fire. Big deal. It's kind of a pagan tradition, kind of a pagan thing to do.
Yeah, well, we're in pagan times. Those guys look a little bit disheartened, man. It's like, well, Pierre, what shall we do now? The people are unhappy, Pierre. Maybe we should hit them with the water cannon. Okay, call the sergeant, Pierre, and let's hit them with the water cannon. Is that Berlin or is that Paris?
That's Berlin. I mean, not Berlin. It's Hamburg.
Okay, I was
Germany.
using the wrong accent. That was my French accent. Yeah, in Germany they have a larger anti-Federal Reserve movement than they do in the United States. They have more people.
I think that's what a lot about what the Yellow Vest is about too, isn't it?
No, Yellow Vest is about too much regulation and too much taxation in France. But in Germany, per capita, that means what that means. That means the percentage of the German population that's against the United States Federal Reserve is greater than the percentage of the U.S. citizens that are against the Federal Reserve. That means they're politically savvy and they realize the international banking system and the Federal Reserve at all, as representing all the international banks, is a great enemy of the entire planet. So you got some politically savvy people in Germany, although they're a little bit enslaved to the Holocaust industry. They're making reparations for something that happened 75
Yeah,
years
they have
ago.
a real hard time with free speech over there, it seems like, too.
Oh, yeah. They imprison grandmas who were alive in World War II saying it really wasn't that bad, or whatever, Ursula, whatever her name, whatever her name, Haverbeck, Ursula Haverbeck. She's still in prison. I don't know if she wrote a book or...
smashed window.
So, yeah, I got respect for Germany. Anybody in any country that stands up against the Federal Reserve has got my vote. Oh, look at that. Broken windows. Free
hugs.
No, free the Shylocks. I don't free. Oh, yeah.
Free hugs.
Yeah.
Free
Good
hugs.
eyes. Yeah. Holy shit. Maybe I wonder what was in that store.
I don't know.
But, okay, Mike, have a good 4th of July and eat some good food, and I'll hit you up on the GoFundMe.
Right on. Thanks a bunch. It's good to hear from you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, next week, baby.
Okay, bye. Okay, I'm going to play a video for you about the Biden-Trump campaign and where we stand, so you know.
Biden is clearly diminished.
All men and women created. I won't traffic in fear and division.
We are seeing more advertising in 2020 than we had seen in 2016.
According to new data released by the Wesleyan Media Project, during the 7-week period from May 11th to June 28th, Joe Biden spent over $3 million on television ads, airing them over 3,000 times. Add in super PAC dollars, and pro-Biden TV spending swells to over $15 million.
The outside groups have come, are active on both sides, but much more heavily are favoring Biden. And even if we include those, Trump still has a large on-air advantage in most media markets.
Sure enough, in the same period, President Trump's campaign spent upwards of $31 million and aired ads over 50,000 times, with outside groups contributing another over 10,000 airings of pro-Trump ads.
2020 has shaped up to be a banner year for political advertising overall.
In the last month, President Trump's most run ad, So Wrong for So Long, portrays Biden as weak on China.
What a beautiful history we wrote together.
And casts President Trump as the jobs president.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Meanwhile, Biden's most run ad focuses on leadership.
The country is crying out for leadership. Leadership that can unite us. Leadership that brings us together.
It doesn't even mention President Trump by name.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
According to data from Advertising Intelligence, the Trump campaign runs a greater variety of ads than Biden, running at least 9 different ones the past month, versus only 3 unique ads by the Biden campaign. And Biden tends to run less negative advertising than President Trump so far.
He doesn't need to. People already have pretty fixed opinions about Donald Trump. Joe Biden, even though he's long-time career in politics, Barack Obama's vice president, still needs to reintroduce himself to the American people.
In a polarized world, these ads are meant to appeal to the most general audience possible.
Local TV still remains one of the best ways, if not the best way, to reach a geographically specific audience and to have broad reach.
Nathaniel Reed, Newsy, Washington.
All right, we're back. Got the bong warming up. I got to get one going for Woolco. I got to get one going for Al. Uh-oh. There was an error. Please excuse our error. Uh-oh. Well, I guess that was a good error to have. What's happening now? This is Germany again still. I think that's a different fire. Is that a different fire or the same fire? They had a fire in the streets moments ago. It looked like a bunch of pallets and stuff that they were burning. Let's see. This one's for you, Al. It's a fatty. Oh man, that last one nearly killed me. I think this one's bigger. Didn't kill me. Actually made me feel much better. I just need to drink some water, that's all. I just need a little water. I'll be fine. Hello, caller.
Mark the Fox with the big old rocks in his pants. What's up?
I am just doing this thing that I do. Waiting for my weekend to start. How about you? What's up with you?
Oh, nothing much. Instead of calling, because I wanted to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. That's Jizzlaine.
That's sure what it sounds like, huh?
Yeah. What's frustrating me with this case is basically the normies' idea of this case is...
One's for you, Al.
Hillary Clinton, suicide. How long is she going to stay alive? It's like, well, why do they want her dead? Why do they want Epstein dead? And you're asking that, I don't know. It's like, this is all they know. They don't want to repeat talking points. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. They're just so... They just repeat these talking points they hear on social media. They have no idea about their connection to Israel. That they're basically foreign agents blackmailing whoever they possibly can at the benefit of Israel. And they don't want to talk about her dad. Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was a agent of Israel, and he had this big funeral, and Jerusalem, where the president of Israel came out, and all these important people came out to lay him to rest, basically saying, what he did for Israel cannot be told at this time. Basically
Now, when
saying,
you say fake, you think it was fake because he wasn't actually dead, or just all the people talking shit were fake?
no, it just, my point is the people don't know what's happening, what the deal is, who these people are, who they're financed by, who they represent, who they're working on behalf. Like Epstein, he was just a middleman. He was just a middleman. He was being financed by Les Wexner and different Jewish billionaires to blackmail politicians. And then when you look at people like Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, you see why they're put in positions of power. Because they're very easy to blackmail. Because all they care about is their carnal lust. They're freaking demons when they set their eyes on somebody. They can't even control themselves. So that was my point, is this goes down the rabbit hole so far, but people only want to look at the surface. They don't want to dig a little deep.
Yeah.
All the blue check marks.
Well, I mean, the story that I posted last night talks about how her dad was a Mossad guy, and that he had some kind of an untimely death.
Yep. That, and the fact that Alan Dershowitz, he's like America's lawyer. Every time someone wants to hear, well, what's the official narrative? What's the official story? Let's go to Alan Dershowitz. And he's defending these people. He's a hardcore Zionist. All these people are connected, and they're all Zionists.
Yeah.
Most of them are Jewish. But
yeah.
if you say these things, then you're some hater. You're a Nazi and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, this is just facts. These are who control our politicians. These are who control our important institutions. And basically, my point regarding this story is, imagine the type of person that would kidnap children, use them as sex slaves just to blackmail people. This is who we are dealing with.
Yeah.
These are demons.
I see it a little more clearly than that. Imagine people who would blow up a hospital again and again and again. The only kind of people that do that in the movies are like the evil villains, like Joker. Joker blew up a hospital in one movie. The really, really demented bad people. So
people who would destroy a whole country, bomb the whole country, and who Madeleine Albright, what you say? It was worth it. She said it was worth it. And of course, she's Jewish. When you start connecting all these different influential Jewish people together, that's some crazy right-wing conspiracy.
yeah.
You can't say that.
Yeah.
Like.
All right. Well, hey, do you have plans for 4th of July, Kevin? Is it Kevin?
Yep.
Hey, do you have plans for 4th of July?
Tomorrow, I might go see some fireworks.
You got fireworks show by you?
Just some friends.
Oh, cool.
Friends are like, yeah, that's nothing special, but.
No, it's good to have friends. It's way better to go and do shit like that with friends than go to some stupid show where there's going to be like thousands of people or something.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, my last point is, you think these people would be these journalists, investigative journalists, they could really be breaking this story wide open. They could be digging deep, putting out.
And everybody would tune in because they'd be like the only ones doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you see all these all these.
And it's so salacious, the sex and stuff. People love that, so the whole fucking world would tune in,
Exactly. They could blow this. They could really bring some attention, do some good work.
But for whatever reason, it's not going to get covered.
Yeah,
She's gonna die. She's going to die by some kind of mysterious circumstances. My guess, she's going to slip on soap in the shower and crack her skull open and bleed to death.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to be optimistic, but I'm trying to be. I hope she sings. Hope she sings and.
See, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Is that that's the whole point about Jeffrey Epstein. There is nothing Jeffrey Epstein would have loved to do than quote unquote sing, and by that I mean people who have this kind of story to tell. They don't kill themselves before they get their story told, right? And this woman, Ms. Maxwell, has the same exact story to tell, and the whole fucking world wants to hear it, and she knows that the whole world wants to hear it. So there's no way, if you have a story like that to tell, there is no way you off yourself. So it's especially when when you got so many get out of jail free cards.
Yep, and basically the way they write the story up is, British socialite, Ghislaine Maxwell. It's just, they never want to put the connection to Israel. They never want to talk about that.
Yeah, well, like I said, the last story that I posted, last night I posted a story. I think the title of it was that Ghislaine Maxwell in the front row of Chelsea Clinton's wedding.
Yeah.
So
you see so many pictures of her with everybody,
with everybody,
Bill Gates and
everybody,
politicians,
everybody,
CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies. Anybody she can slither her way into. And try to get some info.
I don't think she had to slither anywhere, man. I think she just had some kind of fucking, the right email kind of thing where she could get in touch with the right people and say, hey, this is who I am, or this is who my dad is, and this is, and boom. Yeah, whatever. These are my friends, and my friend said I should contact you about this.
That's true, mate. They never want to talk about the way Epstein got his money, and I'm thinking these people are financed by every rich billionaire you could think of. Just for example, Les Wexner, he's like a billionaire times over, and he's the owner of Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie, these different clothing conglomerates, and he was funding them. So I'm guessing he's not the only one. I'm guessing there's a bunch others like him who are funding these people with the sole purpose of blackmailing people, honeypot operation, to benefit Israel. It's what it all comes down to. They were foreign agents.
It looks
Israel.
a lot like that. It looks a lot like that, yeah.
I mean, if everybody come together and figure out who the real enemy is, it's not left and right. It's freaking these people. And when I say these people, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know you keep saying that. All right, hey Kevin, I gotta talk to Craig about something. So, it's good to hear from you. I hope you enjoy hanging out with friends this weekend, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, Bubba. I'll call him Monday.
Okay, see ya. Okay, I gotta talk to Craig about something. We don't have a very good view there on the on there, and that's not working. So I'm gonna go see if we can get some other videos up on that page, and I will be right back with let's see. So I have a report about the traffic now flowing in the chop zone on Capitol Hill, which I'm sure some of you will love to hear.
Have happening right now. For the first time in more than a month, traffic is moving again on Pine Street in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. This comes just after 2 days after Seattle police cleared out the chop zone. So this map shows Pine Street is back open, but there are some barriers still standing on some side streets like 10th and 11th, and Cal Anderson Park is still closed. KOMO's Jonathan Cho has been following the former chop zone since it was created. He joins us live with what it looks like now. Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah, Tammy, you can call this a partial reopening. This area is still technically closed under the mayor's emergency order to clear out the chop. As you mentioned, Cal Anderson Park over there is still temporarily closed for cleanup. No one with Parks and Rec got back to us about when it would reopen. But people are now driving up and down Pine Street, and anyone can pretty much walk through this area without being stopped by police. Up until this point, officers were only allowing people to pass through if they lived here or were headed to area businesses. As for the protesters, we saw a handful peacefully chanting this morning at the corner of Pine Street and Broadway. However, the past couple nights in the same area, demonstrators clashed with police. Several people were arrested. A couple protesters told me they would be back in larger numbers this evening, but are trying to keep things peaceful.
If we want respect from them to change, we need to give back. We need to show respect. And if they don't want me crossing that line, I'm not going to cross that line. But I'm going to protest. I'm going to stand here.
I would say the end game strategy for a long game is to keep the peace.
Now, if protesters do come back, authorities say they have every right to demonstrate, but if it gets violent or out of hand, officers will move in and make more arrests. But I'm being told by police it's unlikely Pine Street will be closed again. As you can see, there is still a visible police presence in the area, and the East Precinct is right up the street with even more officers in case there are problems. Coming up at 6, what neighbors, business owners, and stakeholders here say needs to happen for this area to move forward. Tammy, back to you.
Thanks, Jonathan. We just got a statement from the King County Prosecutor's Office on its decision not to file charges against most protesters. It says in part, we understand the important distinction between people who are gathered to non-violently air grievances and those who take advantage of the otherwise peaceful protest to commit violent acts. The Prosecutor's Office says none of the arrests made while clearing the chop zone have led to criminal charges. 13 people have been charged in relation to the chop and the protests that began in late May. Of those, 6 are gun charges, 4 are burglary charges, 1 is burglary and assault, 1 is a hate crime, and the last is a reckless burning case. Free them all. That's the message behind a rally and a march from the Juvenile Detention Center to the King County Jail today. Organizers want all of the charges that protesters in custody are facing to be dropped. It's part of a bigger effort that's also calling attention to the children currently in King County's Juvenile Detention Center.
Let's see. Okay, so we're not sized up on there. Okay, I'll get that fixed. Hey Craig, this one's still not sized up right. Okay. Hold on. Hello, caller.
Yes, hello. Caller here. My name is Shane. I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. And I'm just calling. My wife and I are sitting here and basically watching the world burn. And it's very unnerving. It's very, I wouldn't say scary, but it's terrible what's going on. And what's happened in this world in the last 8 years is absolutely insanity. And yeah, just calling to say, what's going on.
In the last 8 years, like the legalization of marijuana in Canada, is that insanity?
I don't believe so. I believe that cannabis is a natural thing. Of course, you can get into the synthetic and all that crap. Leave that alone. but I know how it helps. My mother is 70 years old and
Yeah.
she has multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
And this has helped her immensely. And she doesn't use the THC part of the plant. She's using the CBD part, right? Like she's an insomniac. It helps her sleep. It's changed her life, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen MS patients who are really bad, and they have a puff of marijuana, and they go from not being able to say a single word to talking paragraphs and, basically having a normal conversation.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing that's not going crazy in the world then, I guess, right?
You're absolutely right. I get a little tongue-tied. I'm not very, I don't speak very fluent. I get tongue-tied. It's easy for me just to sit here and talk to someone.
It's okay. There's no like pressure here. It's just us. There's no thing, I mean, it's not like what is it that are you a long-time Mox News viewer?
No.
Okay.
We've just actually started watching. So.
Okay. So one of the things that we preach a lot is not to buy into any kind of fear, and because the fear seems to be a big part of the programming. Like they want you to be constantly afraid, the programmers do. And they also want us to be extremely divided, because they keep us afraid and divided. They can get away with almost anything, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel, I don't know, people would say conspiracy theorist or of that nature, but I feel that there's just certain things that aren't coincidence. And I feel that so many of these school shootings and things of this nature are, how I say, almost planned. Like these kids are programmed. They're, what sets it off? What sets it off? All of a sudden, some kid is going into school and killing all these other kids. Like, why is it just kids in schools? Why isn't the anger pointed at the people that it should be directed at? Per se, if you were you were behind on your child support and they were going to take your license and you were, lost your job and the government kept on hammering you and hammering you and hammering you, why would you want to take your frustration out on someone innocent, right? Like, that's what I don't understand for
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the way, look at this, talking about conspiracy theories and all this stuff. So the way that it looks with the school shootings is that it appears as if the majority of school shooters are people who go to school at the place that they're shooting at. Right.
Right, but with these other kids, so they have a history, right? And it seems to be that they're huge warning signs, and they're ignored. And
Yeah.
for what reason?
Because
Right?
it
Like
helps
with
to
mental
further
health,
it
like-
helps to further the agenda of fear and in needing more government control, of course.
Well, I'll tell you, like, even the mental health system here. I know someone that was admitted himself into mental health. He was having paranoid delusions, right? And he was in there for a little over 2 weeks. But after, like, he admitted himself, but then they wouldn't let him go, right? And then they just when they felt he was okay to go, they said, "See you later. Go see a doctor and get some meds," basically, right? Like, this is the problem. This is the problem. They cry mental health, mental health, mental health, but they're not doing anything about the mental health.
I agree with that.
Right?
No,
Train these people. Pay them. Train them.
Well,
With the body count.
we have to be. The problem is that we act like, number one is that the only thing that matters is money, and well, we can't afford that. well, something's got to have to be more important than money, and it can't just be some, fucking gulag where we throw all the people who need mental health. You know what I mean? It's got to be like, you want to help people. We want to have a society, and this is the problem: is everything we have to make money off of everything. If you can't make money off of it, it's just going to be. It's just so horrible, this world that we live in. And I think that's a big part of why the people are in the street, honestly, is because these are mostly 90+% young adults, and they're saying, we have to do better than this.
Yeah, and I feel that most of these protests are like, how do you explain those pallets of brick showing up in New York and things of that nature, right? Like, this is a planned thing. People are inciting this. People are inciting these things. And you know what? Being an older guy, I look back, like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, my God, that's insanity. But then I thought to myself, when I grew up, right? I grew up without a father in the home, a sick mother. I would have been fucking running in there, and pardon my language, I would have been running in there and grabbing a pair of shoes myself, right? Because that's mentality. Let alone because he's from the statistics in the USA, right? Like, the illiterate rate is like 80% in the African American school population. Like, that's unheard of. Like, that's insanity. So they want to cry about money. Like, I just watched, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. I watch a lot of things down south, and this gentleman was talking about the government spending. And I kid you not, he was saying they spent an atrocious amount of money, $3,500, $4,500 for a base. It was either a base or a picture in the Veterans Hospital for the blind unit, for God's sakes, right? They get all this money, and they just, there's got to be accountability. That's the biggest thing in this. Nobody really understands what accountability is. That's the problem.
Yeah, our government's run amok, and it's just we have to be able to. It's just so divisive now. Everything is so dividing, and it's I want to move beyond that so that we can come together and agree on what it is that we need to be making happen right now, because they have us so divided that there's not even a discussion amongst the people about what it is that we should really be making happen at this moment on Earth. At this moment in history on Earth, what is it that we should be making happen as a species? It's really messed up, dude.
It is really messed up. Like, I always kind of say this, right? Like, you're telling me, like, in places like Africa, they can't build cities there. What about Vegas? I thought that was a desert, right? Like, so it's asinine. It's just greed. Like, please tell me, because I don't understand. Like, to me, I think to myself, how can these people in Toronto and that vote for a prime minister like Justin Trudeau, right? Like, it's beyond me.
Well, people love dynasties,
Yeah, but what I don't understand like, you look at places like like Baltimore, where Cummings was running and then he passed away, right? Like, when did these people, like, how do they continue to stick up for their party? How do they not? Like, I just don't understand it. Is it, or are we just being fed so much fucking bullshit on the news? Like, you can't watch anything that on the news that is a farce.
Every time when the news all starts kind of saying the same thing and doing it in kind of a really loud, like, pay attention to what we're saying voice, it's I immediately think something's happening here that's like they're trying to get us, You know, they're trying really hard to program us with something here. And that's basically where the news is all the time now, you know? It just never stops with the fear, fear, fear. And it's so sad, dude,
Right.
because
It is,
there's a
because-
lot of people who just can't handle it, you know?
Right, but there's solutions to all these problems
There
for the
is.
most part.
But
There are.
Yeah, but we don't discuss the problems. We just discuss what the problem is. I mean, we don't discuss the solutions. We just keep talking about how horrible the problem is.
Right, like just for instance, just following like when Giuliani was mayor of New York, and forgive me, I don't know what it's called, but it was like police officer accountability, right? Like these people are assessed, right? They're given
The
merit points,
cops are,
things of that nature, right? Like, so if there's a bunch of complaints about the officer, then they're gone. You know, like how isn't that like just around the board? Well, obviously because every state they legislate their own, correct?
right? They kind of all how do you say? Let's see. They
rule their own little kingdom.
They investigate their own. They clean their own house. However you want to put it, you know what I mean. There's no outside force that says, "Hey, you're not doing this the way you're supposed to be doing it."
Yeah. But anyway, you know what? Really, Mister, I really appreciate the conversation. I just really was just calling to say, you know, just keep it up. I just appreciate watching things of this nature other than the mainstream media. So you guys just keep it up, and God bless you guys.
Right on. Well, you know, as long as there's people here, and you know, like I always said, as long as we have the support of the audience that we serve, you know, why would we do anything else? You know.
Well, that's awesome. That's the way it should be, right? Like, you know, people might not like the news, but people don't like, you know, if it's real news, people might not like it, but that's reality, right? Like, let's just focus on, like, I don't understand how there's no accountability for publishers and things of this nature down in the southern states. Like, I don't understand that. Like, how can they just use anonymous sources and pretty much start all of this shit?
Yeah. The media is in the Western media the United States media has become an arm of the Pentagon. And basically, you know, the U.S. is really a police state, and it's an out of control, like, world police state. You know, like we're gonna boss whoever we want to boss, and this is the way it is, and you know, and it's just got worse and worse. And now there's this guy who wishes he could be a dictator. You know, just really messed up, dude. Maybe they all wish that. It seemed like they all kind of wish that.
Well, I don't know, you know, on the way I see it here, like my wife and I were pretty much on the same page. Your President Trump, he's obviously, he's brash, he's crude, he's everything politicians aren't. And do I think he's honest all the time? Absolutely not. But what I do see are results, and I don't usually see results from politicians. And it might not just be him, but I truly believe because of his business savvy and his, man, he'd be as cold as a frozen cucumber, man. Like, he just wants shit done. Like, he's the type of guy that sits there and he doesn't want to hear, I don't know. Right? Like, and that's
He
just
says, I don't know all the time. In fact, he does a fucking Sergeant Schultz imitation. I know nothing. Do you know Hogan's Heroes? Sergeant Schultz, do you know that show?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I know nothing. It's what he says. Oh, what should be done about Julian Assange, Mr. President? I don't know anything about Julian Assange or WikiLeaks. What? Fuck, dude, you know, I mean, This
No,
what
Jake,
about the Russian bounty, Mr. President? The bounty on, oh, I don't know anything about that. I haven't been informed on that. Blah, blah. It's this thing where, but I guess they all do that to an extent. I just can't stand it, dude, because I mean, he literally, Julian Assange needs someone like the President of the United States to stand up for him, which is what Tulsi Gabbard said she would do. She would immediately pardon Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. And so, and that's the kind of person, that's the kind of man we need, is somebody who actually, when they ask about Julian Assange, who, Donald Trump apparently knows very well about Julian Assange, could actually be honest about Julian Assange and say, well, I'd like to do something, but we're just going to let him die.
You know what, though? Like, but like what changes? I don't know what you've been following about with Jeffrey Epstein.
Uh-huh.
But with this Ghislaine Maxwell being, this is gonna blow the minds of the entire world. There is a pedophilia network so deep.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. I believe that
we're doing a Deadpool on Ghislaine Maxwell. So if you'd like to enter, you can let us know how soon you think she'll commit suicide. Air quotes.
No, I totally get that. To be quite honest, I don't think Epstein is dead either. I think that has shit to do with Israel and stuff of that nature. Mossad.
That seems to be the consensus for sure.
Right. So.
And it's never talked about. Didn't exist. You guys, there's nothing to see here. We're talking about COVID-19 right now. And nobody's actually talking about the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell in the media at all, from what I've seen today.
Absolutely. Right. And that's what it is. Just always push a different narrative. And that's the thing. Like, there's been some really big truth bombs. Like, and that, didn't your Attorney General Barr, didn't he just release the Southern Attorney General of the Southern District in New York?
Yeah.
And then as soon as that happened, and they put in that female, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, that Giselle was picked up, and everybody's saying, oh, she could have been anywhere. She could have. No, man. They knew where. You think that they don't know where everybody is at every point? Give me a break.
Right. They listen to everything. They gather every text. Like I said, it's a police state.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Right? Just think about what they got up in outer space then. Watching us. But anyway, dude, you know what? No, I got to get going here. But I just wanted to call just to really basically say, great job. I just appreciate your show. We're sitting here enjoying it.
Right on. Well, I have 11,000 videos posted on this one Mox News YouTube page. So there's a lot to see if you're new. You should take a look around.
Yes, sir. We definitely will. Thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. And again, just, keep up the good truth.
Right on. Well, we're doing this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So join us anytime. We'd love to have you again.
All right. I do appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks for calling. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. So we have, let's see. It looks like Shreveport, Louisiana is in his house. And what else do we have here? We got Seattle. Seattle is, I think, I don't know where Seattle is. They're in the street. And Portland looked like they had a few people in the street. Looks like they got a few people in the street in Portland. And Shreveport and Sacramento. Into his house. Nice to have you. Let's see. So, and it was good to hear from Shane. I believe it was Shane. He said Regina. Thanks for calling. I hope you and your missus have a lovely weekend, or you and yours. And again, as I was saying, we do this every Monday through Friday. So if you're new to Mox News, please be sure and subscribe and hit the notification bell, because every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we do the live call-in show, and it's always better when you're here. I don't know how else to make that more clear. It's just always better when you're here. So please be sure and join us. Other than that, also there is over 11,000 videos posted on this one Mox News YouTube page. So I have been doing what I know how to do. And if you're new, it's very much worth a look around, because there are some very, very interesting tidbits. They still going booms? Is there booms in the sky? I know, there's booms in the sky. I know. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Chris. How about you, bro?
Hey, I had an awesome day. I got out and did a yard that I have that has it's a pretty large yard, and it's down a long drive, and it has a beautiful view of the Olympic Mountains over the South Puget Sound. So I got a chance to spend some time there, and
That
it was
sounds nice.
very beautiful. Yeah, it was very beautiful afternoon. And then after that, I got a chance to visit an old friend of mine who is an anarchist and a long-term organizer in Olympia, who is like my mentor. He's like my mentor, and he's my friend, but he's also just been very, very sick, and he's like wheelchair bound. And his partner, they're the most eccentric people in the world, but anyway, she's living in a kind of a rural space, so she's able to take him like 4 or 5 days away from the assisted living care facility where he lives. And I had a chance to just see him for about 15 minutes today, so that really uplifted my spirits a lot. So I had a great day, really,
Awesome.
as far as days go. Yeah, all said and done. I have been listening to the program, and there have been a lot of good calls tonight, like Mike from Southern California and Kevin. They made some really great points about Ghislaine Maxwell and her connections with Leslie Wexner and with the elite around the world. And I told you last night that the person who I trust the most about this is Whitney Webb. And she does have a book coming out about this subject, about Jeffrey Epstein and about his connection to all these different intelligence agencies and Ghislaine Maxwell's connections to these same intelligence agencies. The book is called One Nation Under Blackmail, and it's the sordid union, and this is like from Amazon. It says the sordid union between intelligence and crime that gave rise to Jeffrey Epstein. And it's going to come out in September. And the basic says, One Nation Under Blackmail is a damning indictment of the consequences resulting from nearly a century-old relationship between both U.S. and Israel intelligence and the organized criminal network known as the National Crime Syndicate. This book specifically explores how that nexus between intelligence and organized crime directly developed the sexual blackmail techniques and networks that would later enable sexual blackmail. Anyway, that's the beginning of the description. And I would like to tell other listeners, there's an excellent book by Douglas Valentine called CIA and Their Connection to Organized Crime. I think it's the name of the book. Yeah, it's like something along those lines. And he has essays, because he's written books like the Phoenix Program about how the CIA assassinated political leaders in South Vietnam during the war, and they used the Central Intelligence Agency, so U.S. Army worked with Central Intelligence Agency to assassinate people in civil society in South Vietnam that they thought would promote their military agenda or their control over Vietnam. And those same people, they're shadowy people. They took the techniques, like what's occurring. The name of the book is called CIA as Organized Crime by Douglas Valentine. It's a very good book. So what they did was they they used like their own military shit intelligence, but they also, the very foundations of the Central Intelligence Agency did have connections to organized crime. And, you know, the mafia, like if you think of the film The Godfather, for example, you know, blackmail with politicians, like in Godfather 2, there's a senator from Nevada, right? And he's an older man, and they get him in a room with a bunch of like prostitutes. And then somebody runs in with the camera, takes some photographs, and he's like fucked. Like he's like literally fucked, and they have the photographs, and they can get whatever they want from him.
Right.
Like breaks on casinos, right? So the Central Intelligence Agency.
But now they don't have to
took
bust into the room anymore. They have cameras everywhere.
Yeah, Donald Trump pissing on a bed in Moscow. I mean, whatever. Lots of examples of people who have been manipulated or whatnot. So that's what Epstein, it is. The caller, Kevin, was right. You know, it is about blackmail. But I think from what I've read, Jeffrey Epstein had a hedge fund, but the hedge fund was really funded by a single individual. Literally, like it was literally Leslie Wexner that put all of the money up for Jeffrey Epstein, like a front. And literally, Leslie Wexner, Jeffrey Epstein lived in the largest private residential house in fucking New York City. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, really, Mike? I mean, if somebody owned the biggest goddamn mansion in Seattle, right, and they owned it,
Yeah.
right, you know, in a beautiful, like in Queen Anne or in a beautiful place close to downtown and the lake, all that, it's a huge mansion with an estate. Don't you think people would be curious about where the money came from to buy that mansion?
If he wasn't Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, probably.
Yeah, if there wasn't like
You would think
explanation.
somebody in positions of power like the feds or the government, the local governments, would be very interested in who owns that and where the money came from.
I would think so.
Yeah.
So, and I think any rational person would think so. But for some inexplicable reason, Mike, this isn't the case with Jeffrey Epstein. And it isn't just like in Seattle or in San Francisco or in Los Angeles. This is in New York fucking City. This is like the capital city of America, right? In the middle of the heart of American City. This dude owns the biggest house in town and entertains like all of these people, just entertains them. And his only client, the only
Entertains
person
the
who puts
most
money up for his
powerful
hedge fund.
people in the world. Go ahead.
Right. So there's a couple of links that, in the last day that I found. And one of them is the Going Underground show. It's with Afshin Ratansi, and he's Iranian, but he works for RT in England. And he had a story that he put out 5 days ago before Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. And the story says, ex-Israeli spy claims Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed politicians for Israel's Mossad. All right?
Yeah.
And so the person's name is Ari Ben Menashe. He lives in Canada, and he lives in exile in Canada, and he has publicly stated for the last 15 years that Jeffrey Epstein worked for Mossad. And he's a really interesting character because I was curious about some of the questions that people were raising. For example, like, who is Robert Maxwell, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, right? So I went and I found this article from 2006 from a British paper.
Can you hold on for just one sec, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, can you get me like a full screen of this shot in Seattle with all the lights? Is that possible? Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so the story was called The Mystery of Robert Maxwell's Death. And it basically was written in March of 2006, and it describes the events of Robert Maxwell's death. And he died in 1991. But it just goes through, like, they found his body floating in the Atlantic Ocean 15 miles away from his boat, and they say that he got up in the middle of the night, walked outside of his door, re-locked the hatch on his door, kind of stumbled out to the back of the yacht, fell off the yacht, caught the railing with his arm, and slipped into the ocean, where he was found a day later by some fishermen 15 miles away from where they were.
Who is that?
And Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's
her father. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And at the time he had killed himself, he was going to go on trial for fraud, and he was under a lot of public pressure where he would have been, if he was forced in a court of law, he would have been forced to reveal Israeli intelligence secrets.
So
And,
his untimely death was actually very, very conveniently timed.
Exactly. And he really was dead. Like, unlike what Wolko might believe about Jeffrey Epstein, this dude, Robert Maxwell, is not like sitting on the Mediterranean with a drink in his hand. He's fucking dead. So, anyway, there's a quote from this article from 2006. I'll say it real quickly. And that explains who this Israeli intelligence officer was who was talking on the RT program, because he's been in the press for over 15 years.
And you said it was a boat. You said it was a boating accident, right?
Yeah, it was a boating accident. He was on his own yacht.
Yeah.
With his own crew.
Right.
In the Atlantic Ocean, off the Azore Islands, in the Atlantic fucking Ocean, in the middle of nowhere, right? And somehow or another, the old man who owns the fucking boat stumbled out of his room, and everybody works for him, and everybody's watching him, and somehow managed to, like, go, 30 or 40 feet away from his door, and then, like, fall off of a railing into the ocean and drown. That's the story, Mike.
It's a pretty stupid story.
It's
but
the way,
you
and
you believe that he's dead, though. I mean, when I hear untimely death,
I do believe that he's dead.
Yeah,
I do believe he's dead. But like you said, that's a really stupid story.
Yeah,
that's also the way that the intelligence agencies kill people too, right? Like, it is just a stupid story. Let me give you an example. John Kennedy had three bullets shot at him from like a far distance away, and a governor is paralyzed. There's bullets in the street and bullets breaking glass, three bullets in the president, and somehow they said a single person did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Right. So sometimes
just put
you
it
just
in the
say
browser.
something
Just
absurd.
put it in the browser.
Yeah, you say something absurd. So here's the quote about this person who gives the quote about Robert Maxwell. It says, shortly before Robert Maxwell died, a self-proclaimed Mossad officer named Ari Ben-Menashe approached a number of news organizations in Britain and America with the allegation Maxwell was a longtime agent for the Israeli intelligence service. Ben-Menashe also claimed that in 1986, Maxwell tipped off the Israeli embassy in London that Mordecai Vanunu, the nuclear scientist later jailed for 18 years in Israel, had given information about Israel's nuclear capability to the Sunday Times and then to the Daily Mirror. No news organization would publish Ben-Menashe's story at first because of Maxwell's famed litigiousness. He had good lawyers. But later, an MP asked the question about claims in the House of Commons, which meant the newspapers were able to report what had been said without fear of being sued for libel. Just days before he died, Maxwell called the claims ludicrous and a total invention. Mike?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm distracted.
I'm sorry. So what I was getting at there is he literally died a couple of days after the story came out that Israel had nuclear weapons, like nuclear fucking bombs in 1986. And that information was released to the world by this person, Mordecai Vanunu, and it was released to the press. And Robert Maxwell would not release the story, and because he owned a lot of newspapers, suppressed the story, even though it was coming to the fray, so to speak. And anyway, it's very clear that when this man died after he drowned in 1991 on his boat, he had a state funeral, like Mike from Southern California mentioned. He had a state funeral, and the former defense secretary of Israel, former head of military intelligence, next prime minister were present when he was like buried. And he was just supposed to be some British newspaper guy.
Yeah.
Right. So yesterday I said Whitney Webb is the person that we should reference about this. And Whitney Webb did write something yesterday, and this is what she said. Whitney stressed, because yesterday I told you that it's kind of like a film noir. It's like a detective story. We don't know like why they caught her, when they caught her. A lot, obviously they knew where she was the entire fucking time, but they made a moment in time to choose that they were going to arrest her. And why did they do that? And she's writing this book, One Nation Under Blackmail, and did the best work on this story. And she said that she stressed the indictment released today against Ghislaine Maxwell is only 3 victims from 94 to 97. And the indictment states Maxwell was involved in their sexual abuse directly in terms of the sex acts themselves, but not charged for that. Webb tweeted, quote, "They waited until after William Barr fired the United States Attorney for Southern District of New York, Berman." So Trump just fired the lead attorney in Southern New York. And, quote, "They reportedly arrested her in New Hampshire. They've known where she is this entire time and waited till now. Why not? Why now?"
Right.
So she's asking this question that both of us have been asking. And Whitney Webb says on Twitter, "The fact that the FBI will not even touch or question Les Wexner tells you that any effort to go after Ghislaine is superficial," end quote. And this is from accuracy.org, which monitors the media. And they say Whitney Webb was featured on accuracy.org news release last year that drew on a series of reports, including Mega Group, Maxwell's, and Mossad, the spy story at the heart of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, in which Webb examines the role of Epstein's main financial patron for decades, billionaire Leslie Wexner. She highlights that the main goal of Epstein-Maxwell operation was to blackmail prominent individuals. And if you listen to that Afshan Rashani program on RT, Going Underground, and they interviewed the spy, they interviewed him 4 days ago before she got caught, about Jeffrey Epstein, the guy who broke the story in 1986 or 91. He was saying that that Prince Andrew was small fry. Okay, he said that Prince Andrew was a willing idiot. Like he said, he was a complicit idiot. In other words, the reason why Jeffrey Epstein wanted Prince Andrew hanging around him is so that he could lure politicians from all over the world to him, with the bait of the young girls. And in fact, like there was a story in an Indian newspaper that I read yesterday talking about the political implications of politicians from India and Pakistan who had gone to Jeffrey Epstein's magic world where they could fuck little kids, and there was also a story at Business. I found another story that listed every single politician who accepted money from, it's right here, it's from Business Insider, and the story is called, "Here are the politicians that Jeffrey Epstein, the money manager arrested on charges of sex trafficking, has donated to." And it's a story from Business Insider from July 11th, 2019, a year ago. And it lists every single fucking politician that this guy gave money to. And the article is kind of long because, there's a lot of people. He gave to Elliot Spitzer. He gave to John Kerry. He gave to Chris Dodd. He gave to Chuck Schumer. He gave to George Herbert Walker Bush. He gave to Bill Clinton. He gave to Bob Dole. He gave to Jeff Bingham, a Democrat from New Mexico. He gave to fucking Joe Lieberman, right, the independent from Connecticut. He gave to Tom McMillan, a Democrat from Maryland. He gave to Alphonse D'Amato, the Republican governor from New York. He gave to New Mexico Democrat John Kelly. I mean, thousands of dollars, the maximum amount that an individual is allowed to give to. He gave to all of Rick Lazio, a Republican from New York's 2nd District. He gave to Wayne Owens.
And it sounds like he had unlimited briefcases of monies too. It's
right,
not like,
which all comes. So he set up this hedge fund thing. But in fact, the only person who was giving him money to invest in the market, and he never lost in the market, but he wouldn't allow new clients. And that's the reason why Wall Street insiders were kind of sketchy about this guy, is because they were like, who the fuck makes a constant 10% or 12% return on their investment year after year after year after year. It's impossible to do. Like there's restrictions, right? So people are like, wow, that guy Jeff Epstein, he's a math whiz. He's a smart guy. I want to give him my money. I want to give him my money. I want to give him my money to invest. Well, when they try to give him their money to invest, he wouldn't accept their money.
Well, only people that I know, that I meet with.
Right. It's an inside club and stuff. But basically, they knew it was a scam because he wasn't allowing other people to invest. And it was just like a slush fund for this guy, Leslie Wexner.
It's not possible for, the NSA and the government to know who the fucker is, I mean, it's just not possible.
So that's what, and that is exactly also what Whitney Webb was saying earlier, like I told you in that article from Independent Accuracy. She was saying, like, they've known where she was the whole time. They knew they've been watching her.
Yeah.
But they waited until this district attorney from the Southern District of New York was gone. And then the moment he was gone, the Attorney General of the United States moved forward and got this, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, I think it could be for a different reason, and that's to draw attention away from the Israeli occupation of the West Bank that's going to happen in the next month. So if the American public is all like titillated with like fucking and kids getting fucked and like,
but nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about that.
I know. But Netflix just released like a movie about a month ago about Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And it was all based on those things.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the aspects of like his connections to these people, Leslie Wexner, and to the Mossad, and to this intelligence agent, and all in his the funeral, all of these things are not noted in the documentary on Netflix because they intentionally avoided the broader discussion of the Central Intelligence Agency or the Mossad, using political blackmail, which they do in other countries. I mean, It's okay. It's totally okay for the CIA to infiltrate political movements in other countries. It's totally okay for them to assassinate leaders in other countries. It's totally okay for them to get sex honey traps to fuck up potential leaders anywhere in the world. So why does anybody imagine that this stuff isn't happening in the United States? It is.
Of course it is. It's happening everywhere that it can. And it's not just, I don't even think it's just the government that does it, I mean, drug dealers do it and shit,
Yeah, the organized crime does it. And that's what that Douglas Valentine, CIA as organized crime, he documents that and shows the historical relationship between the different people involved, the people who originally created the CIA, and then how one of the things that happened was the people in France, the communists in France after World War II were organizing like unions and also political parties, and the CIA wanted to crush them. But the only connections they had to the port cities in the south of France was like through organized crime and drug trafficking. So they started developing these relationships with like these drug dealers, like the mob. And that was like back right after World War II. So this has happened for like decades and decades and decades and decades, these relationships. And when we invaded Italy, we also used the mob too. Like, because, there were a lot of Italian Americans in New York and in America. So they had connections to organized crime in Sicily and in Naples and in Rome. You see, so the U.S. Army exploited those opportunities. Okay, that's besides Ghislaine Maxwell. Good news. I told you yesterday that Virginia had decriminalized marijuana on January 1st, and really good news, Mike. And this is from Marijuana Moment, a website that Craig and you have posted before, and it's by Ben Adlin, and it was posted today. And the story says, Virginia lawmakers announced plans to legalize marijuana one day after decriminalization takes effect.
That's really good. I mean, that's such an important thing for the people, dude. They can't be just get, that's because the cops can no longer say, I smell marijuana. you know, and it's like, yeah, you do. You want a better smell of it?
Right, and what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything except for that you smell marijuana. What's the problem? Have a nice day.
Right, and right now in Virginia, if a cop comes to your front door and says, "I smell marijuana," whether he or she smells marijuana, they can just say that and step into your home, regardless of what you have to say about it. So you know.
So this was a quote, Mike, from that story. Virginia lawmakers announced plans to legalize marijuana, and it talks about additional legislation that they're requesting from the Virginia legislature. And then it says, the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus doesn't want to wait for the results of the two reviews. However, it is pushing fellow lawmakers to take up cannabis legalization during a special session in August. In addition, the caucus has said its members intend to file bills to implement automatic expungement, ban no-knock warrants, require courts to publish racial data on people charged with low-level offenses, and enact other sweeping criminal justice reform. Jen Pedeni, the development director for the legalization advocacy group NORML and executive director of the group's Virginia chapter, said the organization, which has worked with lawmakers on past reforms, looks forward to continuing to bring evidence-based cannabis policy to Virginia. So it looks encouraging. I mean,
they sound kind of serious about it.
They sound a little serious about it. You're right. And also other states, you know, I've heard one of the articles that I've read is it says like New Jersey is the linchpin or something for legalization on the East Coast, that if New Jersey goes, then the whole East Coast will go for some reason. It could be political reasons, but inevitably, like, it's not going to be in Virginia's interest to just have decriminalized marijuana if adjacent states enable people to sell legal marijuana, because people will just drive over the border and buy herb from whatever an adjacent state.
Hey, Craig,
So
is that the mayor's
revenue.
house? Is that the mayor's house? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so we got speakers out in front of the mayor's house. They're chanting, they're jumping and dancing, and again, I think this is one of the best ways to get the representatives, the people who claim to represent us, to hear your voices, is to make sure that they're within within sound, you know, within the reach of your voice. So. Otherwise, they're not going to hear it.
That's Jenny Durkin's house right there.
That's Mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin's home. And it looks like there are quite a few people.
Yeah, and what were their demands again? Reform, defund the police, release all the protesters without charges, and they had one other demand, right? I think they want their comrades out of jail right now, and they don't want any charges put against people who are participating in the protest for like bullshit charges like, why are you on the sidewalk? I'm going to push you down to the ground and arrest you. I think they want all of the people part of the protest like not to be charged with criminal offenses. I think that's part of the deal.
Yeah, well, I think that you know, that they stand with the protesters. You know what I mean? You don't want you want to nip that in the bud as much as possible. Otherwise, the cops are just going to think that they can get away with, you know, which they get away with it. They get to arrest you, but they can't really hold you anymore. You know?
Yeah. Well, I want to see Joe Biden make some statements about the police unions, and I'd like to see Joe Biden come down hard on the cops. You know, I mean, I wonder how long the Democrats are going to be able to use this ruse that they give a shit about anybody for some kind of political gain, without the nominee making some statements about police brutality in the United States. You know, honest assessment of what's going on.
I listen, I hear you. You know I do. I don't know if Joe Biden could honestly say anything about that. You know, I mean,
He can't say anything because he can't.
Yeah.
Wow.
He just look. He's not a good. You know what I mean? No matter what he said on this subject, if you look at his record, you'd have to go, yeah, he's talking out his ass. He has no interest in reforming the police. Him and Obama militarized the police above and beyond. You know, they could have headed off all of this if they really wanted to, and they did nothing about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And Donald Trump has just taken the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
The ball that was given to him by Obama and Biden. So it's the same clan. I mean, you know, they did a great marketing scam now with Donald Trump, like this world wrestler kind of character, this, you know, landlord / real estate developer / deal maker, TV celebrity. But at the end of the day, he's just promoting the same agenda that Obama had. And I wish people would understand that. Like, it isn't a question of Trump and Obama. It's a stupid conversation. It's a fact that they both represent the interest of, like, the people who actually run our economy. And that ain't Donald Trump or Barack Obama, period. Anybody who believes that is insane. Because at the end of the day, the Democrats never give us what they say they're going to give us. And the Republicans, you know, they make appeals to people on wedge issues to their benefit. But at the end of the day, they're not concerned about working class people at all. So neither of them represent our interests. The sooner people realize this, the better off all of us are going to be. And inevitably, it might be all of us standing outside of our mayor's houses. You know, it happened here in my small town, and it's happening there in Seattle. But people might just have to literally go to their representatives' houses and hit some pans and pots until 4 a.m. and keep those motherfuckers awake and irritate the shit out of them until they pay attention to what the masses are actually saying. They don't want to be abused by the police. They don't want to see their neighbors abused by the police, and they believe in the First Amendment. That's pretty simple stuff, you know?
And if you can't act like the First Amendment is something that's important to you, you know, there's something wrong with you, not these people.
Yeah, there's something wrong with Sacha Baron Cohen. I mean, that's a goddamn fact, man. So I'm with you on that score. I believe in free speech and the First Amendment. People have the right to express themselves. If you don't like what they say, you can change the channel. You can do something else with your time. You don't have to expose yourself to their speech if you don't like it. Go away.
You know, when we used to make television, we used to tell people that all the time. We say, if you don't like what you see, change the channel. Don't fuck it up for everybody. Why you gotta fuck it up for everybody? Just change the channel. But they couldn't do it.
It's so easy. And, you know, I haven't had a television in my house since 1989, Mike. Like, I mean, well, not necessarily. I did co-housing for a couple of years where my housemates had a TV, but I just stayed away from that space.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like, you know, I see TV as like, I really do like the computer because it allows you the ability to find things that aren't like programmed. But television, especially cable television, is very programmed, and a lot of it's pretty bad. So
never ending. Yeah,
I'm watching a bad TV program. Fuck. Am I going to like send a nasty note to the producer and say, your TV program is really bad? No, I'm just going to go, wow, choop, new channel, go to that channel.
Right.
So what's happening is though that people who tell the truth and actually get an audience are being censored by YouTube. And I know you have been, you know, you're, you know, in different ways you've been, you know, restrained by YouTube. But recently this guy, Ryan Dawson, and some of your viewers may know, I don't know if I agree with Ryan Dawson about everything either, but he has covered the Ghislaine Maxwell story for 13 years.
Huh.
And he lost his Patreon account this morning.
Wow.
He claims he lost his Patreon account, and he had posted this. I'm not. I have differences. He's an anti-war libertarian. I'm not a libertarian.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate his perspective. I listen to him. I don't agree. I don't have a Confederate flag on my wall, dude. I have the Earth flag on my wall, right? But I
have a Cascadia flag on my wall. Fuck the government.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that one either, Mike. I like that one too. So Anyway, but he has a Confederate flag for whatever reason. But anyway, I listened to his program, especially his coverage of Jeffrey Epstein over the years, because he just has been following it consistently. And he knows all the names, and he knows the narrative, he knows the outline, the story, and it seems to be pretty consistent. He ties a lot of it to Israel and so forth. But anyway, he lost his Patreon account today, and he's been banned from YouTube for multiple times, meaning he can't even post videos there.
Wow.
So he's just one example. And there have been many like that Free Press TV or Press TV from Iran that have been banned, and and then all the stuff with RT being labeled like weird fucking bad news.
Right.
So an ordinary American who gets off of their second shift and they're walking into their house and they grab a soda or they grab an iced tea from the refrigerator and they sit down and press the television button on, right? Whom. As soon as they see a huge disclaimer across the screen that says, "This is foreign propaganda from Russia," the first thing they do is change the channel, right? So nobody even listens to it.
This is what I've been saying forever too. I mean, they can't wait to attach the labels, conspiracy theorists and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, their labels. Just like their schools, their rules, all of that, yeah. All right. Thank you for your time tonight, Mike. And I just wanted to share some of those thoughts about, and links also, like I said, people can go to Public Accuracy, which is the Institute for Public Accuracy, and find Whitney Webb's article, Epstein and Maxwell, One Nation Under Blackmail. And it talks about this is a blackmail operation, and politicians are the target from all over, Saudi Arabia, India, Europe, United States. And, okay, did the information just go to Israel? I don't know, man. Like I said in chat, I don't think anything happens in this country or in Europe without the CIA being aware of it. So if Mossad was doing the blackmailing, I'm pretty damn sure the Central Intelligence Agency knew that the ex-president was on fucking Pedophile Island, right? Don't you think? Okay, don't you think there's somebody in the Central Intelligence Agency who has a little note on where the fuck Bill Clinton is? Especially
well, he has permanent Secret Service too. He has permanent Secret Service. So I mean, come on.
And when he tells his Secret Service at the airport in New Jersey or in New York, and he says, "Hey guys, you take commercial. I'm flying private with Jeff. I'll catch you at the airport in the Caribbean," right?
Yeah.
You don't think that set off some alarm somewhere in the national security
system? Giant red
system,
flags everywhere.
And that somebody in the National Security Agency or the Central Intelligence Agency just didn't immediately do a double check and say, we need to kind of double things up on Jeff Epstein for the next
we
3
need
days,
to look into make sure what's happening.
Considering our sexually deviant fucking crazy motherfucking ex-president who's going to be there for a couple days. And on a plane without security for 3 hours. Well, I mean, come on. It's like a comic book, right? It's just as
a
absurd.
bad comic book, yeah.
A bad comic book. So I don't think it is just Mossad, all right? I think that they probably were the folks who benefited from it, but I also believe that the Central Intelligence Agency was involved. And that guy Wexner was involved with the Mina cocaine smuggling. The same airplanes that they used, that famous movie with Tom Cruise about flying to Central America and running guns and running cocaine back. Yeah, it was and it was his story, and then they ended up murdering him. He got murdered before he had the opportunity to go to the New York Times or something. I think it's the same story, a same old story.
How convenient.
New York Times reporter on their way to talk to them, and they die. That kind of thing. So
the world is just full of these crazy coincidences, man.
Yeah. So that guy, Leslie Wexner, owned the goddamn airplanes that they were using. The Central Intelligence Agency was using, and somehow or another they moved their airfield from Arkansas to Ohio with the blessings of the governor. And it was all for revenue for a new airport, and these planes were flying to China and all over the world from this little airport in Ohio next to this guy Leslie Wexner's house, who is the same goddamn billionaire who ends up giving Jeffrey Epstein several $1 billion to give him the street cred in New York City to draw these politicians into the wealthiest residence in Manhattan. I mean, it's all weird, right? But and to Orgy Island and ranches in New Mexico, and you know, the Saudi princes and the Prince of goddamn England. What the fuck? Alfred Hitchcock, man, couldn't have written stuff like that. You know, I mean, crazy film writers, the best writers. Charlie Kaufman, I like him. He's a good screenwriter. I don't think he could write a script like that.
You know, well, they say the truth is stranger than fiction, you know.
Well, it's the case this time around. And so those are some of the stories I wanted to say. Good news in Virginia. Congratulations for the legislature
great
stepping
news
forward.
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom is on
And
the
also,
rise.
well, let's hope that the brothers and sisters in Virginia can have access to the plant without being punished by, you know, the authorities. That'd be great. Great step forward. One
Yes.
step forward.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. That is excellent news. Thanks very much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I hope, Craig, and you have a good night. And I look forward to the other great call.
Right on. I started 16 seeds, so I'm sure I'll get one for you. So make it on your schedule sometime soon.
Yeah, I'll come up there in 5 or 6 weeks or something and get one, or at whenever it's convenient.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about it. I'll get some pictures and some video so you can get up. You know you need to get up here soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And have a good 4th of July tomorrow.
Yeah.
I hope that you enjoy your gardening. I'm going to do some gardening as well. I might go for a nature walk tomorrow and maybe read some Thoreau. Thoreau really hated the idea of progress and industrial civilization. I think I might read some Thoreau, like on Walden Pond tomorrow. For 4th of July.
Sounds like a great plan.
Isn't it? All right. Hey, have a good night.
Okay, enjoy. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
That's our buddy Chris from Olympia. And I started a Gorilla Glue seed for him last night. Hopefully it's going to start and sprout. And I will tell you, I'm hoping it's going to sprout tomorrow. And I can go, look what I did for my Freedom Day. Independence, motherfuckers. I have a video here about Freedom Day and independence.
The Trump administration is asking air travelers to wear face masks as part of guidelines issued Thursday. The guidelines come as the government works to reduce the spread of COVID-19 amid a resurgence of the virus around the country. In a statement, U.S. Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao said, "This document provides clear guidance to airlines and airports to protect the traveling public, and we encourage people to pay attention to it." In addition to having travelers wear face masks, airlines and airports are being asked to enhance disinfection and cleaning procedures, promote social distancing, and minimize in-person interactions. But in audio exclusively obtained by Newsy, American Airlines CEO Doug Parker told employees, "Social distancing is not something we can provide very well as an airline. No airline can." The Trump administration says it anticipates providing additional guidance with collaboration from stakeholders that may modify these measures as more is learned about the virus. For Newsy, I'm Josh Kransberg.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott made wearing masks in public mandatory in counties with 20 or more COVID-19 cases. He made the announcement Thursday because of a recent spike in coronavirus cases in the state.
One of the best ways to keep businesses open while also slowing the spread is for everyone to wear a face covering like this when they go out.
He also encouraged people to stay home, work from home if they can, and practice social distancing when not at home. Kids under 10 and people with certain medical conditions or disabilities are exempt from the order. Anyone else caught not wearing a mask could be fined up to $250 per violation. First-time violators will be given a warning. Abbott mentioned no one will be put in jail for violating the order, and masks are also not required during certain activities like exercising and voting.
If we want to avoid lockdowns, if we want to protect those we care about, we need all Texans to join this effort.
The governor also issued a proclamation that gives mayors and county judges the power to impose restrictions on some outdoor gatherings of more than 10 people. For Newsy, I'm Stephanie Sandoval.
Well, typically every 4th of July, we see tens of thousands of people gather along the banks of the East River here in Queens to clamor for a spot to see the fireworks show. But not this year. The city has shelved those plans as we have been living in this era of COVID-19, and today there are new concerns.
Fireworks will light up the skyline in New York City on a smaller scale this 4th of July weekend, as COVID-19 is still in the air. With record daily numbers this week, there are more than 2.7 million confirmed cases nationwide.
If you turn your back on the virus, if you turn your back on science, it's going to bite you. And that's what's happening in most of the U.S., where we're seeing increases.
However, President Trump insists the U.S. has control of COVID-19.
We're opening it up, and it's opening up far faster than anybody thought even possible, and more successfully.
Travel data company Arrivalist predicts more than 36 million Americans are hitting the road this holiday weekend. Health officials stress once again the importance of being cautious even at outdoor gatherings.
All right. No freedom for you. No freedom. No freedom, no future. No freedom for you. Okay, this is a big fat one. I don't remember who I did the last one for. So it's either for Al or Wolko. Al or Wolko. 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 If you'd care to join me, are they still outside the mayor's house? I thought they were on the march a little bit. It looks like they're enjoying. Again, a revolution without dancing is not a revolution worth having. That's a direct quote. Love these guys. Love these guys so much. Thanks, Wilco. Thanks, Al. Thanks, Michelle. And thanks to Michael Bravo. I will get one set up for you momentarily, sir. If I can. You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me here. I can't tell. It looks like they're on the move to me. I don't believe they're still out in front of Mayor Jenny's home, but they are in that neighborhood, I would think. You kids and your snazzy Polaroid cameras are so cool. Right? Am I right? You kids and your fancy Polaroids, man. That's some serious 21st century shit there, dude. Very retro chic, right? You know what it is about a Polaroid? Is you can burn all the evidence. Just can't do that with the phone. Can't do it with a little SIM card. You can try, but there's a chance your little SD card is sending stuff you don't want it to go. And your phone certainly is. 7 pounds of pastrami. Oh my God, I fucking love pastrami. It's so hard to find good pastrami. We go to this one place on the hill, right? On Capitol Hill. called the honey pot. I think, is it called the honey pot? Or is it called, it's called the honey pot, right? And they have a pastrami sandwich there. It is to die for, right? But we go in like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. And like the waiter puts the menu down on the table and says, "Do you have pastrami sandwich?" And they're like, "No pastrami." Because they sell the fuck out of it. Gotta get here earlier, dude. That's some good stuff, though. If you're looking for a spot on Capitol Hill and you like sandwiches, Honey Pot, can't go wrong. I'm telling, I guarantee. Man, why would you more? Oh, he's making sure to stay clean from the COVID. Put your gas mask on, then you don't got to worry about the COVID. It's like, man, why would you wear a gas mask in the middle of a beautiful day? But you got to be safe. Got to be safe. All right, so if anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. I have a video about a mall shooting in Alabama that I thought you guys should probably know about. And look at those people. They are terrifying, are they not? Look at them. Can you see? They're so violent. We can't have this marching through our federally secured secret location mansion, Jenny Durkin. That was a loud one, huh? There's fireworks going off here. Dogs are all huddling up here. They're like, hey, what's happening? Rufus had a cookie. He'll be good. He's good. Let's see. All right, so I was going to play mall shooting video. I'll play mall shooting video. It's a short one. But you guys should know about it.
All right, Timmy, I want to take you out live to Alabama, where we're getting some brand new video here. This is the scene of a shooting that sent 4 people to the hospital. It took place at a shopping center. This happened in the city of Hoover. That's about 13 miles south of Birmingham. Police do tell us at this point several shots were fired near the food court area of that mall. They don't know at this point what led up to that shooting or how many shooters might have been involved. They're also still working to figure out the conditions of the people that were actually shot there. This mall was evacuated. Those police have set up a perimeter around the mall to try to contain that area. This shooting actually comes a year after another shooting at that same mall that left 1 person dead. 1 person was arrested in connection to that case. Back to you.
Okay, so looks like they walk for about 5 minutes, and then they stop and dance. And we dance, and we dance. And we dance and dance and dance and dance and dance and dance. Alright, I gotta get a bong hit ready for somebody. For Michael. Mr. Michael. If anybody else would like me to take a bong hit for them, it is Dabs for Donations Friday. As always, I have these lovely dabs that I got ready to share with you guys, just in case. blowing in the girl's face. She'll zonk right out. That looks pretty good. There you go, Bravo. That one's for you. Birdie. It's a birdie. Sparkle, bitch. There it is. Sparkle, sparkle. Oh, you. Oh. It's a birdie flying through the air, straight into my crystal bucket. Let's see. One voice, one team, one message. I hear it. Together we have all the power. Whatever we say goes. If we say this is the message, then that's the message. Get it. Get it in your head. In your head. Ooh, it's a pretty one. For Mr. Bravo. Thank you, Mr. Bravo. Alright, so I have to go and do a video of Donald Trump. I have to do a video of Donald Trump. Should I do a video of Donald Trump? I don't know, man. I don't know. I just hate videos of Donald Trump. I just hate him. He's so divisive. Oh, that was really good, man. That was really good, dude. That was a nice one. I really like that one. Woof, 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 woof. Nice one. All right, so again, this is Seattle protesters marching through the mayor's neighborhood. They were out in front of her house for a few minutes with their speakers and their turntables, having a discussion, doing a little dance, and trying to make sure that their voices get heard by their elected representatives. So hopefully she's getting the message, because it would be unfortunate if they had to do this every single night, night after night, for the rest of the summer. Wouldn't it, Jenny? Mayor Jenny? Wouldn't that just be awful if these protesters had to go out in front of your protected secret location mansion every night, night after night, for the rest of the summer, Mayor Jenny? Maybe you could get the message. Maybe you could come out and talk to them, see what it is they're trying to say. That makes sense, doesn't it, Mayor Jenny? I think that makes a lot of sense. If they come to your front door, it seems very easy to come out and talk with them and say, hey, anybody want pizza? That's what I would do. I'd be on the phone with Domino's in a heartbeat. And then you'd make friends. People love pizza. That's how you make friends, Mayor Jenny. That's how you make friends. You share a moment. Some lovely warm food. People love warm food. Comfort food. Pizza. Plus they're stoners. You know, they live in Seattle, so they all smoke weed pretty much. That's why they're not afraid of the cops. So you guys know. Not anymore. We used to have to be afraid of the cops because they get fuck with us because we smoke weed. But we don't have to do that anymore. Ha ha. The police hate that. Let's see. Mall shooting. Got the mall shooting. Chop traffic. I think we did that one. Let's see. Protest block Mount Rushmore. Did you guys see that video I posted earlier? Protesters, Native American protesters blocking Mount Rushmore. I thought that was a pretty good video. I tried to get Craig was broadcasting it live all day, so if you didn't get to see it, he has it on the live channel. I will see if we can get him to post a link in the chat. But that was pretty cool. I like the way the guys protested. They pulled these big white vans in, and they took the wheels and the tires off the vans, and just let them sit on their like axles and their rotors and stuff. And then when the tow trucks came in to take them out, the tow trucks couldn't take them out, and they had to bring in the flatbed trucks, and the flatbed trucks were like plowing the asphalt up off the soil. It was awesome. Those guys are so cool. Native Americans, they know how to protest. All right, so I hope you guys have some interesting plans for the weekend. Something to enjoy. Doesn't have to be that interesting as long as it's going to put a smile on your face. Hope you have something that's going to put a smile on your face over the weekend. Because you guys deserve it, right? I have a garden that I have started, and I'm very happy about that. I started 16 seeds. One of them's for Chris, at least. And let him take his pick. Of like 4 different ones. I have doubles. I started doubles so I can grow some outdoors. I've wanted to try and do 2 seasons of outdoor autoflowers in one summer. And that would mean basically that you would plant one at like a July 1st or so. So I want to see, we planted the seeds yesterday, so that was July 2nd. So I wanted to see how that will turn out. If we're able to finish it off in the summer. I planted the ones that finished the quickest. Alright, so let me make sure we're all caught up on dabs here. Make sure we're all caught up on dabs. Dabs for Donation Friday. Dabs for Donation Friday. On the eve of 4th of July. He was born. He was deformed in his mother's side. Alright, so let's see. I just noticed there was a movie on the Comcast that I am recording right now. What was it? It was, it's the latest installment of the Jumanji series, right? So Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart made like an updated sequel to Jumanji, and I actually enjoyed it. You know, I like comedies. I like things that, you know, you can get lost in some kind of ridiculous fantasy. You don't have to think about other than a fantasy where it's so contrived where, you know, people do things with guns. You know, I just can't stand that. Unless it's funny. If it's funny, then I can stand it. Gotta be funny. Gotta make me laugh. What's the point? I don't need to cry. I don't need to feel scared. What's the point of wanting to feel scared or cry? Ick. If I wanted that, I'd have children. Okay, so again, let's see. These people are in Seattle, and they're marching through they marched up to the mayor's home, which was very cool. I was hoping that they were going to do that. And it looks as if they're going to be marching back here to join some other people in downtown. I'm not sure. But I do have another video. They do look like they are enjoying their little walkabout. So I have another video of the DHS forming a statue task force. And I thought that I would play that for you because I did prepare it. And I hate to prepare things and then not get the chance to use them. And it looks like we're all good here. So I'll be right back. Hold on just a sec.
The Department of Homeland Security said it's sending deployment teams to federal monuments over the 4th of July weekend to protect those monuments from protesters. Protesters have been toppling Confederate statues and monuments amid nationwide protests over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody. President Donald Trump has called out protesters who have torn down monuments on Twitter. Homeland Security said in a statement Wednesday, DHS is answering the president's call to use our law enforcement personnel across the country to protect our historic landmarks. We won't stand idly by while violent anarchists and rioters seek not only to vandalize and destroy the symbols of our nation, but to disrupt law and order and sow chaos in our communities. President Trump signed an executive order last week to protect the country's monuments. According to the order, anyone who destroys, damages, vandalizes, or desecrates a monument, memorial, or statue in the U.S. could face up to 10 years in prison. Several cities, like Virginia's capital, have removed Confederate statues. Protesters in Richmond have taken down at least 4 monuments, including ones honoring Confederate President Jefferson Davis and Confederate General William Carter Wickman. The state is trying to remove a massive statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, but a set of lawsuits has put its removal on hold. For Newsy, I'm Stephanie Sandoval.
Okay, let's see. So, yeah, again, these are people that are marching. They marched up to Jenny Durkin's house, and we have some people from Portland here on the screen. It looks like Portland is assembling quite a little crowd here. And it looks like they got a nice spot right on the river there. That's beautiful. So, let's see. Hold on, let's see. Did I freeze it up? Nope. Okay, so let's see. I am looking at, I think this, I gotta get this back on the screen. Hey, Craig, can you get me back this other screen? Let's see. I want to show this other thing that's happening. I want to show the river down in Portland. Looks so pretty. There you go. Okay, so that's the river down there in Portland on the bottom, right behind me. I just thought that was such a nice view. I wanted to make sure you guys got a chance to see that. That seems like a nice place to gather and have a little chat for the evening, right? And you still have the mayor's, the protest outside the mayor's house right there. So let me see. So it's a wonderful weekend for freedom, and I hope that you all are looking forward to enjoying some freedom. I really, really do. I started some cannabis seeds because I think that's a very important form of just newly legalized freedom. And that if you have the chance to, exercise cannabis freedom, I really hope that you do so. Because I think it's, again, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's important, beyond important. I think I was born this way, and so were you. Okay, so let's see. Anyways, it looks like a lovely evening for protesting in the Great Northwest and other places around the world. We also saw Australia this evening. We also saw Louisville and a couple other spots. But let's see. I got that one nice. I have let me think. I have one more video of protesters, Native American protesters blocking the entrance to the Mount Rushmore, but I have already posted that video on this YouTube page. So if you would like to see that video, man, Portland is looking beautiful. Isn't that a great view right there? If you have already seen, if you haven't seen that video, Native Americans blocking the entrance to Mount Rushmore, I have it posted on this YouTube page already, so you can go and check it out now if you want. Otherwise, I'm going to look at this lovely view of Portland and give anyone who wants to call a chance, or if you want to make a donation, you can make a donation. I'll be happy to take another dab in your honor. Otherwise, I'm very much looking forward to this 4th of July weekend beginning. So, and I hope you are too. I really hope I get to kick my garden off this weekend in a big way. I think that would be so much fun, or something that's been missing from my life desperately for the last few months. So, very much looking forward to that, if anybody's wondering. Let's see. So, again, that's Portland on the left, and in the bottom and right and the upper right-hand corner are Seattle. The one in the upper right-hand corner, I believe, is back up on Capitol Hill. But I'm not positive. It looked like that's where they were earlier, but I'm not positive. At any rate, it looks like these people are keeping very positive attitudes. Again, these aren't, this isn't some kind of an angry mob, And as far as if anybody really wants to know, as far as the statues being pulled down, that is a very non-violent protest, okay? They're not burning a museum, you know, they're not looting, which is not what these people do. But they're, again, saying, you guys are not hearing what we're saying with the pulling down of statues. I believe that's the message there. And these people are desperate. They don't want to be out in the street protesting a comply or die heavily armed police state that can't stand being questioned. They don't want to be there doing that. Nobody does. Because sometimes it has to be done, right? And I think they're very brave to do so, night after night after night. So I commend them. And thanks so much for tuning in. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So, Craig, are you going to keep the live stream going? Meaning of life. We're come for your liver. Oh, that's such a good movie. Is that what you're watching this weekend? I love that movie. You know what I really love about that movie is the music. I love them singing. I love that song that when they come for the liver, when they talk about the ever expanding universe. But I love when I love when the hand of God comes down. They said, "Don't stand there gaping like you've never seen the hand of God before." Love that line. I used to say that all the time when I was a younger lad. All right, so again, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and that means we will be back on Monday. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. Until then, thanks so much for tuning in, and stay cool, because one of these days this war is going to end. I sure hope. It's got to end one of these days. Probably when these people are in charge. That's my...
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. MoxNews.com.